Hallelujah. Give him, hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give me the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne. When I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation, the beauty of the universe, you never change. You never lie. You never change. You never change. Hallelujah to my Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Hey. Hallelujah. Give him, hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give him the highest.
Good afternoon, folks. Time check here in the East Coast is 5:18 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Afonso Ziansot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you in this evening broadcast. As usual, we're going to have two beautiful programs. I'm going to be taking you in the first segment in the West African state of Ghana, neighboring Ghana, with Minister Bibi Wright and her husband standing by. We're going to be talking to them as part of our quest to showcase the beauty of Liberia. Stay tuned. I will be right back.
He deserves everything. The worshiping. Oh, he gave me life. I will praise his name. I'm here to praise my God.
Yes, that's always our starting theme song here. So just stay tuned here. But let's see, we're going to be having something new here.
Anche a Biblia, dola aja mwa sala wala ula ajbe aju ba oblia ula ajbe na da mo pebe ajbe ble pon ble jbe we mo pobloa na dola wa sabola ajbe.
Listen, we're going to get a sense of what this song is all about. When I got to know about this song here, like, what are you killing me? I got to bring this lady here to get the secrets. Let's listen a little bit.
Na big bell and condola ajuno nema atusunde you wo ye nyamu en
Ajbeyo Siale Ajbeyo
There is the magic things.
Ajbeyo Adiebuyo Toyo Ajbeyo Joya Niemuo Adiebuyo Toyo Ajbeyo Joya Niemuo Ajbeyo Adiebuyo Toyo Ajbeyo Joya Niemuo Ajbeyo Adiebuyo Toyo Ajbeyo Joya Niemuo Ajbeyo
Welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv to watch and see the beauty and some of the talents that we have in Liberia. This is Minister Bibi Wright right now, fitting away right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. Stop this music and bring these beautiful folks here. Let's have a little conversation here. And believe me, we're going to go right back to this music here. I'm Afonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Welcome to this Sunday evening broadcast. Let me take you in the West African state of Ghana, neighboring Ghana, where the minister herself is standing by. Just bear with us. She's going to be right here with her here very shortly. Mr. Bibi Wright is standing by, and we will be welcoming her for the first time. See her, look like a queen of neighboring Takosomo. Okay, Minister Wright, good evening. I know it's evening hours in Ghana, correct?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, and I welcome on Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Wow, you on vacation in Ghana?
Yes.
And I'm seeing the strength, your strength right by your right hand side. Let a guy come over. I will see him there. This, I think, this is the brother who's, I believe, who behind the whole thing. There you go. Much better. Okay, let's welcome these beautiful people here. Ghana, that's my second home because it was from Ghana that I came from to be to USA. Bujumbura, my house is still there. I hope so. Somebody know one. So, okay, let's have a little bit fun time here. Minister Wright, thank you for honoring our invitation to your husband, Mr. Boateng. I'm not good at introducing people, so let me just go to you. You can introduce it, and then we can go to your husband as well, and then we can start a conversation.
Okay.
So, who is Minister? Not for me, but for the audience. Who is Minister Bibi Wright?
Mr. Bibi Wright is from Liberia, Grand Juda County, born by Mr. Philip G. Wright, and Miss Orator Gay, my mother from Ivory Coast, live in Diboke, married in Diboke, but born in Panye.
Okay. So, if you can just maybe elevate yourself so we'll see your face, we want to see you. Somebody already texted me that is that Savior there? So I don't know that they will figure out what I no, somebody sending me a text that she look like Savior. Why are you calling her Bibi, right? So let them figure out. Okay, let me go to my brother that should I say is that Akwaba or what should I say? Akwaba, welcome, right?
Yeah,
Akwaba. Okay, how you doing? What's your name? Yeah, introduce yourself to us. My
name is Prophet Matthew Ajini Boateng of Action Chapel International.
Okay, all right. Are you guys both of you here? I know, Minister Bibi to be here in the US. Are you based in the USA too, or all of you? Or are you in Ghana?
No, I'm in Ghana, but I'm based in South Africa.
Oh, you're based in South Africa. Wow, from USA to South Africa, it all started from Liberia. How that connection took place, Minister Bibi Wright? No, I'm just kidding. We didn't need to go. We didn't need to go in that. I'm just kidding here. Okay, but let's have a conversation. How long you been singing?
I've been singing.
How long you been singing?
For a long time. Since the 90s, like from the Assemblies of God Church in Ivory Coast, when we went over to the refugee days, and my siblings, I followed them to church, and then since then, but I actually came out with my album in 2008, June 28th, the Testimony album.
Testimony. That music is still rings bell. Testimony. So why you decided to go gospel? Was that a reason?
Because that's what we're called to do.
No, you're called.
I didn't choose it myself. God who chose me.
Oh, that was divine God's divine intervention. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me not make him to be idle here. Let me make my dear brother Prophet Boateng. Am I correct?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Let me not make you out of here. We are friendly people. Your wife is my own sister, so we gotta treat you just how we treat her here. Uh, how long you been in this ministry business as well?
I've been in the ministry for ages. Let's say 15 years now.
15 years. Well, I'm not interested in knowing your age, but anybody will be listening is he looks like a young guy. Why is he a real prophet, or is he doing it to just on his table? Those are the apprehension people are going to be talking about here. So, how long you do you have a ministry in Ghana?
Sure. When I'm in Ghana, I'm with Action Chapel. I work for Archbishop Duncan Williams, South Africa. I'm pastoring Action Chapel, Brits. So I am under Archbishop Duncan Williams.
Wow. Okay. Why it takes you to how you came to this point as well?
Pardon me?
Why you want to be a servant? Why you want to be a servant of God? Why it's so important to turn to the scripture?
Oh, it's a calling. It's a calling. The Lord called me into it, and I was being discovered as David was discovered to become a king by the Lord. You know, we all have our doings, our schooling and everything, but the Lord, when the Lord came in, he called. So we respond to the call of God.
Respond to the call of God. Do you sing too, or you yell like myself? I can't sing.
No, I don't have voice at all.
You don't have voice. So why all her singing? So how do you contribute when she's making her songs and things like that? How do you know what are the song that's a wife before anything she gets out there? It has to meet your approval. So you can't sing like myself. So you have no idea what's coming out, correct? Huh?
What she said? He said.
Do you have when she make her songs? Do you listen to them before getting the song?
Do you listen to the songs, or you just?
Oh yeah, I do listen to the songs. I do listen to her songs, and
he has music ears, but he can't write. He can't sing. He can only write.
Yeah, I can write, but I can't sing.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I want for people to see the talents of this lady. She's been singing. So I'm not going to go to the testimony, but I'm going to go to one of the songs here, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay?
Okay.
Anche a Biblia dola aja nwa siala wala ula ajibe o aju ba oblea ula ajibe na da mo pebe aye jibe ble pon ble jibe we mo pobloa na dola wa sagbola aye jibe abe jibe asachi e dia ni agba abayiwe buen be no degi tayo desun ati e a enu na abinyu wa abloa wo egbe na able jibe en dola ajunu na ma atusunde yo wo ye nyamu en
Ajbeyo Siale Ajbeyo
They're excited, they're magic figures.
That's Minister Bibi right there live before your very eyes, but she's currently in the neighboring side, West African state of Ghana. Let's go right to that song.
Your son loyale, abaile abamurejiro, mabatijaye, omu abratijio, owaemuo, bodibe bonsu deya o, kamunda deowe. When you say loyale, kamu you say loyale, kamunda, you say adeye, kamuda deya swawe, kamuda o.
That's the voice of Minister Bibi Wright. We're going to be breaking it now right here. What an amazing song. Let's be frank. Let us make what she's going to give the interpretation here. Let me see here. To get her here to focus on dance. Okay. Minister Wright, what a beautiful song. That song, I believe, is in your own vernacular. What's the meaning of that song?
The song says we should love each other. We should learn to forgive. Because Christ loved us and he forgave us first. And that's what he requires of us.
Can you fix your camera? Can you see whether you can get yourself adjusted?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. I'm hearing you. I want my audience to see you, to focus who behind the song. Okay. So the credit goes to you. Okay, so why you decided to make that song?
The song, I didn't write the song. The song, it was one night I just slept off and my father, because my father passed away almost 2 years now. And then I had some things that were troubling my mind, you know. And then I went to bed, I saw him asleep. He said, you should let go. Don't hold things in your mind for anybody. You should talk to your sibling, talk to people that you know. So he started giving me the wordings of what I'm supposed to put in a song. But I didn't know first it was a song, but you just give me voice. Love your neighbor, love your friends. You stop hating each other. You should learn to forgive. If you love each other, that's the only way things will work for you guys, especially in the family or in the neighborhood, as an organization. Where there is no love, there will be no development. He started giving me common example, started telling me things. So when I wake up, I said, well, what does this mean? So I call my sister, I said, oh, the Papa was telling me something, but I think this is a song he's trying to give me. So I just started putting the words together. Every word he gave me, I put everything together. And that's how the beat, everything just came to me. Just like that, and I went to the studio, I recorded the song. And the song means so much a lot, not so much, going directly to me or to my siblings, but it's a song that goes to everybody. It's a nationwide song. So wherever you are, whoever has done you wrong, let it go. Because forgiveness is very good for ourselves. And it helps you to keep you healthy. And that's the only way you can develop your village, your country, your town, your organization. That's the only way. Where there is no love, there will be no peace. So to have peace is to learn to love. So that's what the song is about. So I didn't sit down to just write the song.
Wow. So where was this album launch? I mean, the recording, everything is so perfect, it's so beautiful. Where did you do that recording? In Ghana or here in the US?
No, I did it with one of my And
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Sandy is a producer in Sioux Iowa. He's very good at traditional songs. So immediately I called him and I went over there. I drove there and we did a song.
Wow. What's the level of support that you have received, including myself? I'm making my own now. I did not contribute that. But yeah, we are talking about it, and that's part of our commitment. We here for Liberia Public Radio to people in different, because the gospel is a huge factor to the growth of our country as well. In as much we want to talk politics, we must also bring in Liberians that have extraordinary talents like what you are doing now. What's the level of support that you have received or you continue to get from friends, from family? You know, you being in this music business, testimony, that's another one, great one.
Yeah, a lot of people love it. A lot of people send me messages. They appreciate me. And some people are even waiting that I should add more voice. I should do the remix, because when I was doing it, I didn't ask for support. So now people are waiting, to support me if I want to extend the song. They say I should make it longer and add more words.
Yeah,
So
they
people are
always
waiting.
require. They can't give. They think no contribution, no drink. That what you supposed to tell them. Tell them it requires. It
Yeah,
requires.
so
It can't just be like that. That something can make people to ask for more
yeah,
wording.
so they said they are waiting. Some people waiting to to support me when I want to redo it. I want to do real video. Any video I want to do, some people say I should call them. Yeah. So
Why
but
you
they
should
did not
call them?
give me
Let them
support from the
send.
beginning.
Let them send their support. Don't you see? You can be so soft with these people here. That why they hear something. You don't have to call. They want to let them sponsor. We got to learn to do these things. We have to learn to support our people. This sort of charity thing always, yeah, God will bless you. God been blessing you ever since. That's why you're thinking. So don't wait for somebody to tell you, say God will bless you because you're singing that song. It needs financial support. That recording, I don't want to know, but I guess you pay money. No video man going to sit behind you to do the editing. Even you bringing somebody to do the dancing for you, in order to entice the beauty of the media, you have to pay. So you can, so they shouldn't tell you, say, oh, you must do second song, third song. If you find it difficult to tell them, let me know. I will tell them for you.
Okay. I will definitely tell you.
Yeah, no, seriously. We gotta force our people. That too much of free thing, nothing is free. All right. So you are currently in Ghana. Will you reach your country, Liberia, or are you just having some little quiet time there with your family?
Yes, I'm planning to reach there next month. My husband and I, we're planning to reach there. We have a plan to go there. Yeah, planning to reach Liberia and Ivory Coast to see my mother, and then see my stepmother in Liberia, my mother, right.
Okay,
so have plans.
Good. Okay, don't pretend the guy is not right behind you. Where is the support? I'm Sample San crying, you are crying. No way to hide identity. Tell me here, is that Ghana man there? Is he doing everything? Is he giving you the support I require?
Oh yes. So he's giving me the support, encouraging me financially, spiritually. He's doing it. He's doing his best.
Okay,
yeah. Even now, we have to leave the studio because he said, that Uncle Alfonso, he said it's 1 hour, almost 1 hour now, so we gotta go.
You see, I think he will be my good friend because he respects time.
So I told you, he said, hey, he said, Uncle Alfonso, 1 hour now. So I said, oh, he sent message. He said, I'll go. So I have to leave the recording to come home.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's very supportive, Yeah, nobody is righteous, but
yes,
God gave me this man, and I really, really appreciate it.
Okay, just hold on 1 second. Let him get a sound of the. Are you hearing me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I want them to get the sign of. This is one of my favorite. I'm not saying this song you made is not fun. Don't get me wrong, but testimony, you get a lot of heavyweight. Let me play this one here. Let them get a song. I'm just going to give them the.
joy pour ya nyoe. Mere jure pour ya nyoe. C'est des déjis si les won nyo de. C'est ton conji ya joy nyo
Minister Baby Rife, one of her first eldest son, Testimony. Listen, let's get the song beat. Wow, that was Testimony, right?
Yes.
Testimony. So that was so what is a testimony? That's a testimony you find in Ghana and that's all, or what?
I know, right? That's one of the testimonies.
Laugh
the deaf, last on the power of your tongue. So whatever you speak. So
I know.
I will prophesy over myself.
Let me talk to my brother-in-law there. I say, Prophet.
Yes, uncle.
I think you the testimony. This whole thing here is started from that. I think that's the main testimony here. Oh my goodness, internet. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think this whole thing here, this testimony ends up with you. It started from somewhere and end up in Ghana there with you.
Sure. It's all about Jesus.
Okay, good. All right. So, Bibi, how long you intend to be in this sinking business? Where do you want to see yourself going? To what extent you want to see yourself to be?
Maybe. Talk.
So, Miss Prophet, let me talk to you here. You got to help her out. Now, what I told her to bring you in. To what extent? Her voice is perfect. Her communication, her style, the tone. Where do you want to see her in this sort of sinking business, sinking for God?
Okay, what I want to see, music itself is something that God made especially for himself. And whenever man praises him, the Bible says he do wonders. So what I want to see the next ages ahead of us by Christ Jesus is that we want to see the young one coming to love God and understand him more. We want this ministry of singing to bring people together to understand the moment that we are in, the season that we are in, that is a season of worship. We want to take it all over the world, bringing Africans together in worship all over the world, the Southern Africa, the Eastern Africans, West Africa, everywhere where Jesus will take us.
Wow. So that's the goal of this whole of her ministry, and that's how you want it to be, correct?
Sure, by Christ Jesus.
By Christ Jesus. Minister Wright, have you performed since you in your home? Ghana is, I would say that's a first home. I don't know whether it's a first or second, but you have two homes. Have you shown your Liberian talent mixed with the Ghanaian talent in terms of singing? Have you performed anything since you've been in Ghana?
Yes, I performed in one of the one of the branches in Ghana when we went to preach, and then the other branch in Kumasi. Yes, but when I go sing, I have to mix it up with a Ghanaian song. I can't just sing Liberian song, so I mixed it up, and it'd be like, oh.
Wait a minute. You say what? Yes. You mix it with Ghanaian song?
Yes.
Are you able to get a taste of it?
Oh, Jesus is Lord. Okay, I will try. Go come back.
Okay, so it feels like you're dressing like a Ashanti woman now.
Yes, I am. I'm a Ashanti queen.
Ashanti queen. Oh my goodness. Bye bye, Liberia. She's okay, so that's good. We want to be doing this. Please let us know, and not just only youth, all of meaningful Liberians. I think we have to include our conversation. Like I said, not all of the time politics, but we must also tap into the expertise, and not just only to Liberians, and to Africans. That's in the interest of African solidarity. I can invite Ghanaians, Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans, as long as they are willing to come, we can do that. But we have to also tap into the musical industry, both in the Christian or secular world, to see, how we can get these people. We have to promote our own. It is for us. It is good for our country, not just only for the individual, but more important that we have to support them spiritually, financially. But a lot of us get leprosy fingers. When it comes to giving, then we get a magic fingers. We know where the $5 bill is. We know where the dollar bill is. But we want good things. Any good things you have to spend. Let's be honest. So it doesn't mean because you're Christian, when you ask people, people are going to say, "Oh, so what?" Jesus' house has to be beautiful. You think you want to perform and you can't dress neatly because you're Christian? No. Who's going to look at you? Nobody's going to look at you. So all of these things, it require financial resources. We have to do that. Let me go back to this song here again. I love this song here so much. I don't know why he decided to put it in Crown, so I'm quite sure it's in Crown. Yeah, so we're talking. So let's go to this starting here. It's quite amazing here. Let me see here. My man Dimitri. Dimitri. Yeah.
Anche abibloa dola ou aja ou siala wala ula ajbe o aju ba oblea ula ajbe na da mo klebe ajbe ble pon ble jbe we mo pobloa na dola wa sagbola ajbe abejbe asachi ede ayini aba abayiwe bon be no degi tayo desun ati a enu awon na abinu wa ablo la wo ye gbe na abejbe o en dola aju no na ma atusun de yo wo ye nyamu en
Ajbeyo Siale Ajbeyo
They're excited, they're magic figures.
Ajbeyo Adiebuyo Toyo Ajbeyo Toya ni emuo 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 Ajbeyo Abe abaile o Yo salade loyale Abe abaile o Abamureji o Mo ba ti jaye omu obra ji o Owa emu o Bodi be fonsu meya o Kamuda owe When you say loyale Kamu you say loyale Kamuda you say adeye Kamuda enyo swawe Kamuda o Kayeda When you say ibajaye Kamunwe you say no deye Kamuda yo ya mureji o yo ya mureji o abe abaide o sale abe adodile sale o abe abadile o boyin ni fanyole ayan je loyole boyin bete mawe yo sadele loyole sale boyin todile o nokuna mi ani abayin badile boyin koyonye o ezejimo abe abaile o adele o abe moyo abe
All right, this song is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. How long it took you to get this song together? Are you there?
Not long.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're only loud and clear. How long it took to? It was really. I mean, the wordings and everything is so perfect. How long it took you?
It didn't take long.
Wow. So I mean, those words. Okay, folks, just bear with us. We're having a little problem.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear. Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, it didn't take me any long because the wordings were already given to me. So I just put it together and went and do it. And the song actually it explains more in it that the other voice said that if you have something like if you are rich, if you are settled and you see your friend need help, you should help. Don't look down upon them.
Right.
And don't hate your mother, don't hate your father, don't hate your brothers and sisters. Because if Christ come tomorrow, what will you say? Because of that, you can go to hell.
Yeah,
and the song say if you are when you need pagnon, we just say pagnon, which means when you are rich and you have something. What is say pagnon? So you should be able to give. Don't just receive. You should be able to give as well. And don't envy, don't hate. And you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what the song is explaining. When your mother do something to you, don't hate her. Don't hate your children. Don't do pick and choose. Because the person is not your child and you're living the same neighborhood, you want to treat them different. So don't treat somebody else's child different. You should love equally. Don't say because this child is my firstborn or she's my lastborn, he's my only son, I love the child best among all the children. Don't do that. If Christ comes tomorrow, what will you say? Because of that one thing, you cannot make it to heaven.
Wow.
Yeah, what the song is saying.
Actually, it seems to me is today's reality to how we don't like one another. They want that I'm a pass on, this one that I'm my brother's son, and all that kind of stuff here. Those are some of the things that we're going to be. Right. Those are some of the things, okay? Those are some of the things, right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. I know our second program going to be coming on here very shortly.
Okay.
So let me talk to my own brother there, Prophet Boateng. Yeah. I won't be surprised when you start sinking inside some what? Is that Ashanti or what?
Yeah, I'm an Ashanti.
You are. I won't be surprised because I know my sister. She's talented. She's gifted. I guess she's already training in that direction. I won't be surprised when the next song is in Ashanti. Is that what you guys working on now? Are you guys hearing me? I know the internet is breaking.
Yeah, we are hearing you now.
Yeah, so I say I won't be surprised. Your next song, Minister Right? I know my sister, she's gifted, she's talented. The next song gonna be in Ashanti. I won't be surprised when that comes on. Right? Okay, we're having a little break in that, but that's okay. Are you guys still hearing me or no? Okay, let's see here. Let me say, I see the entire, just a little bit internet here. Remember that they are not here. They are both in West Africa, in Ghana, specifically, currently on vacation there. And that's why you see the break out there. But I'm quite sure this is something we all need to support, not only her, but some of our folks in in the sinking industry. Yeah, the went off the internet section there is so bad. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv right here from the New England Bureau. This is Freedom Watch, your informative news magazine. It comes your way every Sunday to right here from the Diaspora Informative News Outlet. I am Alfonso Zienso. Stay tuned. I'm going to be right back. Let's take this quick commercial commitment for those of you who's willing to have I've got convention reunion, but because of the COVID, you can meet. We have a solution. We have found a solution for you. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
Okay, let me see here. Let me bring my guest. The guy disconnected. Are you hearing me now? Are you guys hearing me now? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know that I understand the network is a little bit pain in the neck here. Okay, let me go to you guys. I know it's a little bit late on your end and for your closing statement. What's the message you want to leave with us as a Liberians and even African for that matter?
Oh, what I will leave with us or with everyone tonight is to love God first, and don't give up in anything you do. And before you do it, you should put God first. Invite God into your situation.
Okay.
And have faith.
Definitely.
Don't give up. Keep trying, and you will get there. Whatever you want to do, whether you want to be a politician, or you want to be a musician, you want to be a secular musician, you want to be a whatever thing you need that you want to do, don't give up. You will
Oh, okay. We understand this.
one time, 2 times, 3 times, but one day you will get there.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ty. Prophet, what would be a final word for us too?
That's why, because is good.
Yeah. So let me have Prophet.
Very self, keep you healthy and make you live long. Before you just let things out. Yes.
Okay. So let me talk to Prophet Boateng that what could be his final word to us as a Liberians and as an African brother?
Okay, my final word is... My final word to everyone. The timing and the season we are, is very evil. So I want everybody to hold on to the faith. And there are people who are coming up in ministry, getting a lot of challenges. People are not accepting you. That doesn't mean that you don't have a value. I want them to assure that if people don't value you, it doesn't mean you don't have a value. Even the donkey was denied by his own people. But when the season came for the donkey to be honored, the people who denied the donkey now was honoring the donkey because Jesus sat on it. So if you give your life to Christ and whatever you are doing, if you give your hope to Jesus, I believe in you, you may think that you don't have value, people are looking down over you, but it's a lie. When the season of God to lift you up, people will be surprised.
Okay.
Listen.
All right. Okay, family, I want to say thank you so much, Minister Bibi Wright and Prophet Boateng for being my guest here in this first segment. My second guest is already here. Thank you so much and have a pleasant stay in the West African state of Ghana. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. God bless you. Good night.
All right. Okay, there you have it, folks. I'm Alfonso Ziensort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. My second guest is here to our viewers and listeners across the globe. We're going to be taking on some critical issues, someone who was championed, advocate. He would establish his own identity. But what I do know is a young Liberian who has been very forceful, talking and addressing some of the critical issues in Liberia and across the globe. His passions came from far off. He will introduce himself. And like we said, this network, Liberia Public Radio, does not only just elevate these elite guys already holding state power, but who must go all out to seek and find potential Liberians with good ideas, good talking point. Stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, joining me now from my neighboring Canada is one of the strong voices, Mr. Johnson. Is joining me from Canada. He is the executive director of Empowerment Square. By the way, he has his own podcast. I follow him most of the time. And as a young person, all of his conversations are conversations of substance. Let's see what he wants to share with us, with you. I'm going to go right to him, Mr. Ty Johnson, to introduce, unmute your mic. Okay, to introduce people is one of the things that I'm lazy at all of talking here, because you tend to leave out good pieces of information that is so relevant to the conversation and even about the person. I want to welcome you. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be here on the Liberia Public Radio. And I can see, let me just get a cat out of the bed. This will not be your last. This will not be your first. Every time we'll try to tap into your expertise. Welcome on LPR.
Thank you very much, Mr. So, for having me on. And also, I follow your show quite a bit. And I must say, it's always fascinating to see how far you push people, whether they're politicians or not, to get answers from them. My name is Leo Nupolo Johnson, a young Liberian living in Canada. I've spent a little over 10 years now living in Canada, and I do a lot of different things. One of them is being a founder and executive director of Empowerment Squared, a Canadian charity that I head now with about 15 staff. We do work primarily in Canada, supporting immigrants and children of immigrants get through the education system in Canada. That's what we do here. We also work in South Africa and Ghana. And then in Liberia right now, we've just broken grounds. Construction is about to start for a $2 million learning center that will house the first purposely built public library in Liberia since the war. And we're doing that in collaboration with Rotary International, with a bunch of Canadian engineering companies, and as well as the public library system from Canada that is helping us to design this to meet the needs of our country. Outside of that, I am the president of the Liberian Association of Canada, which is the umbrella Liberian Association in Canada. So almost like how you have ULA in the States. We cover the entire country of Liberian community associations. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Okay, let's just establish the identity here. You speak on so many national issues here, but let's do a little bit backtracking here. What got you into this business? Why?
I left Liberia during the famous September 18 crisis, ended up in Ivory Coast, lived there until the war started, and then ran on from Cote d'Ivoire when the Gay Robert thing and Laurent Gbagbo thing started. Ran to Ghana, where I live on the Puduburam refugee camp. Total about 9 years between Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. And then I was living there by myself at the time as a young man, and I ended up in Canada as a government-sponsored refugee, what to call it at the time. And when I got here, I've often said, when I was on the camps those days, even through the war, it was a lot of people who didn't know you from anywhere that put their lives on the line to help you survive, and some of whom we actually still remember very well. So when I got to Canada, I was shocked at the abundance, not just of resources, but also of opportunities. But I also reminded myself that all my fellow Liberians will never get the opportunity to travel. In fact, a minority of people will ever get the chance to travel. Majority will never. And I got on a mission of trying to figure out, how can I breach the divide between allowing some of these opportunities to become available, even if people do not travel? How do you get them to leverage some of these opportunities so that leaving Liberia does not have to become the only option through which any young Liberian can dream to be successful? And the best way to do that for me was to demonstrate my ability here in Canada so that investors, supporters, people who wanted to do good in the world could trust that we were capable of asking for opportunities and taking it to Liberia and making sure that it was used for what it was intended for. And I often say this, where I come from in Liberia, I believe that Liberia is our responsibility and nobody else. And I realize that government has always been the problem, so government cannot be the solution. So I thought to myself that I needed to find ways to innovate outside of government, but still be able to contribute at a level that will be appreciated back home.
For the most part, people found themselves, and I can remember when I was in Sierra Leone, the protection officer, he used to encourage her. He said, being a refugee does not mean your life should be totally disabled. You can figure out something. And he gives a perfect example of himself, how he was a refugee. And he found out that being a refugee, there are a lot of things to your disadvantage. But you must also open your eyes to find the root. And guess what? He ended up being the protection officer when we were at the famous Waterloo refugee camp. But there are other brothers, there are other African who like, okay, I'm a refugee. That's the end of the light. I must live out on hand, out on Russia. I don't think you thought in that sort of direction, Mr. Ty Johnson.
No, I didn't, because I think we often forget that, unfortunately, nobody would have ever loved to be a refugee voluntarily by themselves. Right. I think what we forgot is that because we became refugees, we learned some life skills that nobody can ever teach you. We learned to survive. We learned to make life out of nothing. We learned to live having nothing, no money, no food. And we managed to. And what people don't realize is that that type of resilience that you develop, if you are able to translate it or transfer it into a place where there are lots of opportunities now that you can use it, you are way ahead of the pack. But another thing I will often say, that this is how I put it. You can choose to become a victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to become a champion of possibilities. The reason we struggle on refugee camps was simple. We had no opportunities. We had no resources, even if you wanted to do something. Now that we've come to places where there are opportunities, we cannot excuse ourselves anymore. We have to knock ourselves out of the mentality of being a refugee and now know that we are sitting in a privileged place with a lot of opportunities. What we do with those opportunities will determine whether or not we were grateful to be where we are.
Okay, I follow your activity, believe me or not. Most of all of the podcasts all around here, and I know there are some people here when they're talking, it's just a complete waste of time. Some people is for entertainment purposes, but there are some other outlet when you go there, you gain wisdom. You say, wait a minute, is he a Liberian? So how long has he invested himself? Your talking point has been very critical. You say it as it should be. I don't know, establish your identity here. Are you with GOL, that's the government of Liberia, or the 15th or 20 political parties? There's no indication. More might grow. They still forming collaboration here. But sometimes, people hate to get the facts, because when you start addressing the real issues that are confronting the nation, not necessarily the individual who is in charge, you've been labeled as either a pay agent or a hidden so person. Do you pay attention to those things here and who you are, Mr. Johnson?
No, I don't. And first of all, let me make that very clear. My political party is the Republic of Liberia. Beyond that, I don't even think there are political parties in Liberia. I think there are popular people that people just follow whenever it is convenient. And I am one person who has a very good grounding and understanding when it comes to what institutions are. And I can tell you that I don't think we do have political parties in Liberia. We have popular movements that people follow because of who the leader is. But when it comes to me personally, I have a stake in Liberia. I cannot be, that's the only country that no one can deport me from. I can be deported from any other country in the world. But let me put it this way. I think because we have remained silent, there are a lot of people who are in Liberia, independents, who only interest and sole interest is for Liberia to become a better place for all of us. And we've forgotten to know that the Constitution of Liberia does not subject you to become a member of any political party, including the government, to be able to contribute to your country, whether it's being critical, whether it's calling issues out as it is. In fact, I'm on the record now for asking young people in Liberia to quit their political parties because it's of no use to them. It's of no value to them. The Constitution does not ask you to join a political party to be able to vote. You can still vote without being in one. But let me say it straight. I think this is the mistake that we've made. Everybody has gotten to a place where we only see things through the spectrum of where you are aligned, to the point where you feel you have an obligation to defend it, even if it is wrong. And I'm one of those people who believe that we need to be intentional about speaking about Liberia because we do care and we are prepared to be objective and admit when we're wrong, rather than just taking some kind of political line simply because you love the person who's at the top of the ticket at that moment. So my political party remains Liberia, and I've said to everybody, it's a waste of my time or anybody's time trying to join any political party in Liberia because they're all corrupt.
Yeah, Mr. Ty Johnson, are you speaking out of authenticity, Ty, trying to play to the red meat out there as typical other folks to guide the calm? And I agree with you for the most extent, because most of these times, sometimes when we try to talk this yet, and people don't understand, because I don't see the entire institution, the entire process is broken. But everybody tend to be the one to be the fixer. I don't see the real fixer. Do you see that?
I'll put it this way. Anybody who knows me, you can go back for the last 12 years since I came to North America, because before coming to Canada, I was much younger, so not as very active like this. Well, even people who know me from the Buduburam refugee camp, they will tell you, I am one person who believes in integrity. I've said to everybody, there is nothing else you got to show me unless your integrity. And I can know from where you stand and your consistency. But let's put it to this way. Nobody is the fixer. I'm also on the record letting people know that the upcoming election in December is already a lost cause. 2023 is also already a lost cause. Unfortunately, to be able to take a country like Liberia from where it is to where it should go in the political arena, you need to have demonstrated to us 10 to 15 years of a solid blueprint, of a solid plan of what it will look like to take a country from where it is to somewhere. Unfortunately, I will tell you today, I don't know anybody that has answered the question about what to do with Liberia. None of the political leaders currently that I've seen. Everybody is lying to us that they can use $500 million to change Liberia. That is the biggest lie. Even if you put $500 million, the entire budget, into just healthcare, you cannot even scratch the surface of it. So you cannot tell me how one group of corrupt people running political parties that make no sense, the way they run it, they're not able to run small political parties to make sense. How can you convince me that this group of people will take over the whole country and all of a sudden become master leaders and just be able to run the country? It's not going to happen. So the truth is, the elections, both elections coming up, are already a lost cause. So we need to start innovating and thinking about ways that we can move our country forward outside of the political spectrum, in my opinion.
I have a diverse listening public here, and that's one of the things that I like of this network. Very disciplined folks that come here. We accept people's views, opinions. Lost cause. What is the simplest definitions of lost cause? Somebody who is wondering what the heck Mr. Johnson is talking about.
I'm basically saying you are wasting your time thinking about electing somebody in 2023 or electing somebody in December 2020 would do any difference for Liberia. Let me tell you what's going to happen. In 2023, when the elections come down to two people, if nobody wins outright, the majority, everybody will cross over to whoever they think is going to win and cut deals. And I will tell you, there's no politician in Liberia will not cut the deals. So all of the complaints you are having once the elections are over, the very same people you complain about will end up in government. But number two, let me put it this way. You have to perform voodoo to tell me that you've skipped all the things, the fundamental foundational things that need to be in place in Liberia, and you tell me that you can change the country. It's not possible. If you were not able to run a political party where you can produce financial reports that we can see every year as required for your members, how can you run the country budget in a transparent manner when you cannot do it for a small political party? You're not able to keep it organized. So when I say it's a lost cause, I'm asking Liberians to not put a lot of stake into the outcome, because the Election Commission is incapable of delivering, in my opinion, a free, fair election, not because they would cheat, just because they don't have the logistic, the infrastructure, or the technical ability to run a proper election. So I'm asking Liberians, let's stop hinging our hopes on the next election or on the term of one government. To change Liberia, we need successive serious governments for at least 30 to 50 years to get us back on track. The truth is, some of us may not be alive, but the work that we would do today will speak for itself tomorrow.
Well, folks, Mr. Teleo Tai Johnson is the executive director of Empowerment Square, Young Progressive. I would say progressive with sound idea, really great. Look at things from a different perspective in an open air. He's not a guy who just put a dishes and here. So this is a problem. Most of these guys, politicians, I'm saying a lot of advocates, they are born overnight. I don't know, we don't know their record of their advocacy, but I don't consider them as an advocate because as an advocate, you can be selective in your advocacy. When it is against your group or whoever you support, you have to speak to it. But today's advocates in the Liberian settings are very selective. They only poke in the eyes, advocates of the politicians or the opposition column, they poke in the eyes of the GOL, that's the government of Liberia, and advocates for GOL poke in the eyes of the opposition. So are these guys, how can we describe them? What is a single word can we use to give the identity? And because they are so okrum and I sound with the English language, they take a lot of people away. And you who's trying to keep the real talking point, people don't listen to you. That's the sad things about this whole thing.
Yeah. I will first let's say it's pure deception. And we've gone under this in Liberia historically for a very long period of time. Here's why I say it is deception. My understanding of advocacy is that you got to fight with one hand and build with the other. You cannot continue to just fight. In fact, what's happening in Liberia and has happened for a long time is that advocates and everybody else has been fighting so much that even when they win the victories, they are unable to take advantage of the opportunities that do emerge because they spend so much time fighting that they don't build anybody. I will give you an example. Look at all of the political parties or look at any youth, advocacy organization in Liberia. And, we criticize, great. We point out the flaws in society, great. Show me how many of them run a mentorship program to raise the next great writers, or the next great speakers, or the next great critical thinkers, or the next great anything. Basically, what we've done in Liberia, when we talk about advocacy, we've put all our eggs in just fighting all the time. But nobody can describe to you how to build. The only way they can tell you how to build is say, if you make me president, or if you make me senator, or if you make me this. If you know how to build, you know how to build. So remember, whether you're an advocate or whatever you call yourself, we cannot keep creating these vacuums. Because when you come out in Liberia and point out a flaw in our society, great job. When you start to take it on and fight it, you have to realize you too have a responsibility to prepare for what will come. And what will come when you create this vacuum must be proven that it will be better than what is already there. So I said to people, don't tell me, show me. Who in Liberia doesn't know our problems? Unless you are not a Liberian, you are from a different planet. If you are from Liberia and you know the Liberian problems, you don't need nobody to reiterate it to you all the time. And let me address something. People like to say it is the mindset. People that just their mindset, they are crazy because they vote a certain people. People are not crazy. People are surviving. If people know that you who are on the other side arguing and debating, you would just come and do the same thing in another way, shape, or form, why should it not just go with somebody who they think would just help them survive? That's all they're doing. They're surviving because they've looked across the board. And honestly, there are no options that have shown them better because everybody who has come on board has said they can do better. They haven't demonstrated it. You live in Liberia. If you are an advocate or a leader or whoever you are, your track record should demonstrate to people that, wow, if this person has better for us, give them more power. But you are convincing people that they must give you power first before you can do stuff. That's hypocrisy. So let me say it to everybody. Advocate or whoever you are, you cannot continue to fight with two hands. We got to fight with one hand and build with the other hand so that when we win the victory, we got prepared people that can take advantage of the opportunities that do emerge.
By virtue what you do and things that have been following you to empowerment squared, and you as a young person, I surmise greatly to your interest will be in the futures of tomorrow's youth of Liberia. I see the politician, the 103 men and women, Capitol Hill, four political parties under the nomenclatures of collaborative, even though nothing is collaborating as far as I'm concerned. You have another 11 on the star of rainbow coalitions. I don't know what a rainbow is hanging over Liberia. You have another group of 3 put together, the coalitions mighty. if I watch some of the images, the videos that are coming out of Liberia, then people are chanting, "We can't get tired. We are mighty days," wearing red barrels. And I went through the war. I was in Liberia walking. I was there when the president was killed. I went to Ghana. Fole Sanko came. So I see all of this here. Are these people, can we be honest if we turn this camera off? These people, do they have the heart for the future of Liberia? I'm talking about the young generation. Do they? I just see that they are deliberately employ a political tactics to keep these people down so that they will hold on to state power. Is that how you see it?
Yes, Mr. Zion. First of all, let me say it to you. Only a bankrupt society with a bankrupt group of people leading it will look at its young people and call them militants. If you define the word militant, regardless of what connotation you give it, it's associated with violence, period. Whether you justify it or not, that is not the point.
Including brigade.
Including brigades. These are all words that are associated with violence. There's no two ways you can talk about it. And people like to talk about great organizations like the ANC from South Africa and stuff. Now, you have to realize the ANC militants were fighting a war. They were not just fighting politics. They were actually at war with apartheid. They were militarized to fight for their lives. This is not what we have in Liberia. Look at any political party, Mr. So. Young people who joined these political parties in 2005, many of them are still singing battle cry songs in 2020. It is only a bankrupt society. There is one consistent thing that's happening in Liberia. The population in West Point is increasing. The population in Red Light Gobacho Market is increasing. The population in the slums are increasing. That is the only consistent thing we have. That is an indictment on any form of leadership in Liberia, whether the government, whether opposition, whether politicians. As long as the populations of these slums, West Point is about 5 kilometers away from the executive mansion, the seat of the Liberian presidency. And if you can tell me that people are able to ignore it, the very custodians of our country are able to ignore West Point, ignore Claratown, ignore these slums that are actually the bedrock for the next conflict in our country. It's actually the next recipe for disaster in our country. Imagine this. We call the victims of war, our brothers and sisters who were victims of war, we call them Zogos, a derogatory term resembling zombies. And then we call their perpetrators and the people who mass murder, we call them honorables in the exact same society. I'll tell you today, Mr. Soul, that's what I said. Nobody, in my opinion, is serious, opposition or government, because there is no way there can be a future for Liberia without figuring out what will happen to the populations in West Point, in Niku Town, in Gobacho Market. Until somebody is able to figure out what will happen to those populations, we're going nowhere. Everybody else is lying to us. What type of country tells you that $500 million, close to half of it, is based on loans and assistance from other friendly governments or organizations around the world before you even make your budget? And a country comes out and tells you every year that they will fix healthcare, they will fix education, they will fix security, they will fix all of the things out of 500 million. That is the greatest deception anybody can ever give to any of us. And the fact that they keep carrying this is a joke. And no opposition party has told me or shown me a blueprint how you can make Liberia a productive country, not just based on the money our donor partners give us, but based on what activities are we able to set in our own country to get us to a place. Because what you don't have, you don't have. Let's stop spending money we don't have, hoping on donor agencies to come in. We need to start figuring out what is it that we do have.
Or waiting for donor conference.
Or waiting for donor conferences to tell us what they would do. And then we complain when the people control us to say they will dictate what we do. And then we say we are a sovereign nation. You cannot be a sovereign nation begging. If you are begging, you are not sovereign. The act of begging subjects you to that. So let me put it this way. I said to everyone, the only way we can see ourselves dealing with the problem in Liberia, the diaspora has a big role to play in it, Mr. Soul, and you can come to that. But I think, unfortunately, even the diaspora needs a serious transformation of the mind. Why is it in the Liberian diaspora, every Liberian community you go to, there is yo-yo and there is noise? We cannot even complete one meeting without fighting each other. You go to the county associations, the same noise. You go to the community association, the same noise everywhere you go. The Liberian diaspora has no excuse. We have seen better. We live in better. We see better systems here. So until we can start to become serious and not just call ourselves ANC USA, UP USA, CDC USA, that's nonsense. We need to be Liberia, USA, Liberia, Canada, Liberia, Norway, and start to demonstrate the success that we can achieve here, that we can tell people back home. We want to share some of that, but we are unsuccessful, even in the diaspora. So how can we promise people back home that we got anything better to offer?
Those are very strong words coming out of you here. There seems to be somebody listening here, and I'm a critical thinker here. Reactions I'm already getting here is like we are no exception to the problem that is currently unfolding in Liberia. We are corrupt organizations here, and I agree with you. Even my own country organization, own district, and all, even in our own homes, very dishonest. These people, we elect them as community leaders. They do not make financial reports. They are not current. When you ask them, say it's a pro bono work. They have the double to do. We all do the same thing, but that's not a justification of taking responsibility. And I think it starts from here, because from here, the next thing they want to be as a as a senator, as a representative, but they are not exemplary of what they think they can do. That's a serious word coming out of you.
And I'm serious and adamant about it. Here's what I always say, Mr. So I'm a young man, right? I may not know the depth of the history of Liberia like you, and you know, who had the chance to participate in some of these incidents. But here's what I say. I will speak up, because when I'm wrong, I want big brothers and big sisters around, and you know, who may know to correct me, for me to accept, because there's no other way I would get to know what happened if I don't speak out. I don't have libraries to go to read it. I don't even have access to anything about Liberia to know what happened. So, but let me come to your point about the strong words coming from me. Mr. So, let me put it this way. The Liberian community came in the diaspora, right? In many places, organizations started very informally. And, you know, somebody came from Lofa Kante, so they decided to get a few Lofa brothers together, and, you know, they started doing something. Before you know it grew into something big. What we haven't done in the Liberian community is to transition from these informal startups to a serious place. So what happened is somebody became president of the association. That person never know what president is in their whole life. They've never even led 3 people before. Now they prefer them only because maybe they were the oldest, or they prefer them only because they've been around the longest, so they put them there. Instead of our leaders in the diaspora humbling themselves and say, community, I'm honored that you guys appointed me, but I'm very experienced at this job. How can we set ourselves up so that I don't know how to read financial report? I don't even know how to read progress report, even though I'm your president. Can we discuss this? If it means we have to go find somebody outside, if there is nobody in the community who knows how to write the financial report, let's go find somebody outside that can help tutor us or mentor us for 1 year. Or let's raise some money, send 2 people in the community to a local college to do a certificate program in accounting, so that we can get to know what do they do. They pass around the place, go to all these basement parties. They put big tables out for them, put beef fufu on it. The president and Naka. They put a food table outside. They must serve them extra, and when they finish, they go home. When you come to a meeting, you ask for financial report, they want to kill you. Why should you ask for financial report? They make it look like it's voodoo. Every day, they cannot bring the financial report. You ask for progress report, it is a problem. So what has happened is...
No meetings.
Say that?
No meetings for meeting.
No meetings. Nobody, people memory. Whatever somebody say, you got to go by it, whether that's true or the lie. So I keep saying to people, we have shielded our incompetence in the diaspora with arrogance. Because the same people will tell you, say they have PhD from LU. The same people will tell you, say they're so experienced, they're serving big leadership positions or whatever. Okay, then where are the meeting minutes? You cannot produce it. And when people challenge them, they have this attitude. They come out, they form cliques, they bully you, and you know, to the point where you are afraid of your name, so you have to draw back because you don't want your character to be destroyed. So few people in the Liberian community who are well-meaning and, you know, competent cannot participate, because the moment they start to ask tough questions, you are bullied. And here is a hypocrisy in the Liberian community. Our people will sit there, they will come in private and tell Mr. So, the Tina man doing a bow. But when you come to a meeting and Mr. So pull your hand up and say, here is the problem, then the same people say, me, I'm neutral. I told you how long you're making plow, and I on anybody's side, I didn't neutral.
In the Liberian country, let's leave it here, you know, that their family organization, and you know, because you do this thing here, the people will feedback. Look, let me digress here a little bit. You point out something special, especially with this name here. And I see these people to be the victims of the creations of politicians, because they were gradually paving their way to state power. Now, they have been very successful. We awarded them deliberately, either knowingly or unknowingly, and they are in charge of state power. And they have placed a stigma with this name called Zogo. So then the question comes to mind, can it be, or can we have Liberia? can we ignore these people if we fail to rehabilitate them? In Sierra Leone, according to the Institute of Peace Studies, have a researcher to send people to Sierra Leone between the period of 2000, and there was a lot of studies done to research, counseling, to talk to people, not just only youth, but war victims for rehabilitations, how these people can be integrated into society, education, trainings. I'm not sure that was the case. Can we have a better future if we fail and we lead these folks that they call in Zocos, even though it is their creation? Can we have a Liberia?
There's no Liberia. Let me say it straight up. There is no Liberia without figuring out what happens to our brothers and sisters today that we insult and call them Zogos. Because you know why, Mr. So? We now have a second generation of the so-called Zogos. I like to call them challenge you or challenge people. I don't like to even call them Zogo. So I'm only using the term Zogo for the purpose of our discussion so people can understand what I'm actually talking about. There is absolutely no Liberia or no future for Liberia without us figuring out what will happen to these people. And let me tell you why. We now have a second generation of Zogos who are not war victims anymore. The first generation of Zogos were former combatants. Some of them were recruited as child soldiers. They were disarmed. The international community provided money for their rehabilitation. And our so-called politicians and warlords stole those money and made themselves wealthy today and did not do the actual job they were supposed to do in rehabilitating these people. All governments after have ignored them like they do not exist. So now what we got is a second generation of people we are calling Zogos who are not ex-combatants anymore. They've just been children born into abject poverty. I call them the poverty Zogos now. We don't have ex-combatant Zogos just anymore now. We got two generations. And those numbers are fast escalating if you travel across the country. People in Monrovia, so they only see Monrovia. If you go to certain parts of the country, it's a no-go zone because those are all the people that you can find there. And I keep reminding people, any country that destroys its young people through 20 years of civil war, and the same people who were part of the destruction and the masterminds of the destruction come back, take state power, and decide to punish the victims again, punishing them on top of it, to the point where today we despise them. What kind of country is Liberia? On Sunday, we shut the country down. Everybody goes to church and drive past our brothers and sisters, 13-year-old little girls prostituting in the street just for food to eat. But we go to church in our mansions of churches, right? People build these huge mansions in Liberia, call them churches. Right outside the door is a slum. We worship God in our splendor. And then we go home and we feast on our table with enough food when we have people dying on the streets for hunger. There has to be something that happened to us that have drawn us so backwards. We've become a bankrupt country, and I tell anybody, you are just a fraudster. Anybody who says they will become president for Liberia or lead Liberia and cannot tell me what to do with this population of people who are victims of war, victims of poverty. Because you know what, like I keep saying, the populations in West Point has doubled than it was. And it is a spillover from that doubling in West Point that is spilling onto the streets called Zogo. It is a spillover from Gorbachev Manke that is spilling over now, we're calling Zogos. It is a spillover from Logging Town, from Niku Town, from Clara Town. These places fermented our civil war and escalated it because of the level of underprivileged people that were there who had to go and participate to fight for themselves. Again, we are sowing the seeds of another civil crisis. We are sowing the seeds of another conflict, and we'll pretend like we don't know where it came from. So in my opinion, there is no future for Liberia unless we figure out what will happen to our brothers and sisters.
Let me insert humanity into this conversation. Is getting quite fascinating. I'm seeing more than 7 drums behind you there. Wow, you took those drones from Africa to running as a refugee?
Absolutely not as a refugee. But when I came in, I have money now to put it on the plane. I went back to Liberia. I bought all these drums from there. I brought them to Canada. Actually, some of them are from Ghana as well. And one of the things I do in the programs here, even though all the children we work with are not Liberians, we teach them the African djembe drumming. We teach them the value of culture, because I care less where you are and who you are. Liberians have continued to run away from themselves. They want to be everybody else except themselves because of this false identity that we've been presented with, that we had no culture. And some of us will continue to dig deeper and dig deeper until we show to people that we do have culture, but because we've continued to run away from it, it has become an embarrassment because we do not even know who we are.
You came to Canada. You went back to Liberia or Ghana, bought those drums, to keep the spirit of culture going, to remind people whether they are Liberian or not, and brought in.
That is correct. And in fact, beyond just that, what I do when we teach it is we talk about the importance of culture. We demonstrate that unless you know who you are, Mr. Soul, you have no value in society, because the only thing you've got to offer is who you are. Anything else you are trying to pretend and copy from somewhere to offer, you cannot do it better than the people who owns it. You cannot demonstrate Ghanaian culture better than Ghanaians. You cannot be white man in the country better than the white people. You cannot adapt European culture or American culture better than the Americans. The only thing you can offer that nobody can challenge you on is your own culture. So the sooner you learn it, the better, because it will take your confidence to a whole new level. That is the reason how we have a crisis of low self-esteem in the Liberian community. Everybody feel they have to boast and prove a point before people can take them seriously, because you don't know who you are. The moment you know who you are, it comes with a level of confidence that when you walk out there, you know you got something to offer that nobody else in this world can offer except a Liberian. That is the reason why it is only unique to your own country. So when we can start to go back, and let me say this, not all of our culture is great either, like every culture. But who's going to evolve it if we all abandon it? Mr. Sot, 30 to 40 more years from now, we don't want to be pointing as the new elders on the block. If we are not investing now so that tomorrow we will be in a privileged position to evolve our culture, we keep blaming everybody else. It's a joke. Our cultures must evolve. The things we don't like about it because of what we know now, it is our responsibility to go back and start to figure out how we evolve it so that it is consistent with our values and our identity. This thing that people say we're running away from our own self, we won't be Ghanaians, we won't be Ivorians, we won't be Nigerians, we want to sing like everybody else but ourselves, it's a joke. That's the reason why we have a low self-esteem crisis in the Liberian community, because nobody knows who they are. So when they come out, they have to try to pretend to be Americans. They have to try to pretend to be Ghanaians. They have to try to pretend to be Australians, Europeans. They want to dress like them. They want to imitate everything about them. It's simply because you are just running away from who you are. And the sooner you can realize that and come back to base, trust me, a lot of things will change for you for the better.
Well, folks, I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We're going to take a quick break for my guests to get a glass of water, and I will be right back.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
All right, there you have it, folks. For those of you, organizations, reunions is always going on. In the absence of the COVID-19, in order to follow health protocols, the Liberia Public Radio has also put in place where we will be able to conduct a virtual convention, because as a matter of fact, during crisis, that's when everybody backing up now. COVID-19, they're still, but then they're calling individuals to still pay their due, but this is supposed to provide strategy, to keep the spirit of the organization going. But everybody, all of their leaders are phone off now. So if you have organizations and you are contemplating or seriously in trouble, or yet to find that vision as to how to assemble your people, let us know. We will help you out to get that going. I want to talk a little bit politics with you, Leo. Yeah. Are you there?
I'm here. I can hear you clearly.
Well, I want to talk a little bit politics, and the reason of that, you as executive director for Empowerment Square, I think if I could make a good educated guess here, is to build the future of our country, not for us, not necessarily again for you, but the next generation. The 2020 senatorial race is a couple of months away, and you are monitoring what is coming out of Liberia. And I'm troubled, especially when it comes to trucking and taking advantage of the generations. The process, what do you make of the process? What is at stake? What yet to get? What sort of language do we need to speak for people to understand?
It's This is just disheartening, sad, and pathetic on so many levels. And on the political level, on the moral level, just on so many levels that you can look at this on. And let me tell you what my greatest disappointment is, Mr. So. My greatest disappointment is the fact that I haven't seen the level of forcefulness from all sectors of our society coming down on this in a way that embarrasses their own friends, because some of the people who are doing it, they're friends. Liberia is such a small country. The moment you start to talk to people in the corridors of power, you quickly know that they all know each other. I'm also shocked that the legislature thinks this is some kind of joke. The level of condemnation and seriousness I expected to come from. In fact, there should be multiple investigations ongoing right now, not just one from the government. There should even be people inviting international bodies to also get involved in this process. Because what is happening in Liberia, we've come to a place of complete distrust, that we don't even trust our own people anymore to do a good job, because we got so many investigations that we still to find out what happened with the investigation. Nobody knows the outcome yet. But let me put it succinctly. Our elections as a country, the one thing that gives anybody the right in Liberia to say, I have a right in this country and I can determine what happens to this country, is being played with, is being toiled with. And everybody thinks this is normal, it's okay. I hear Liberians talking, sometimes serious people, political leaders and stuff, talking about, oh, but it happened before. But what they always been doing. So almost justifying it. It's a shame, it's an embarrassment. It just shows you how wicked our own people are, that you think the only way you can be able to lead your people is not to work with them, but is to manipulate them. And in fact, in many cases, abuse them by letting them know that they have no choice but to be stuck with you, even if they don't need you, by trucking people to come and validate you. If you work in your county or in your district or whatever else that is, you shouldn't have a problem making a case to your people for leadership. And also this arrogance that we think because we are the smartest, it means we cannot lose. That is arrogance at its highest level. Being the smartest doesn't mean you cannot lose. Many people place their bet and say Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. Many people place that bet. In fact, many people thought she was a better candidate. She lost and she accepted it. But we have this arrogance in Liberia that people believe that a certain kind of person is not supposed to actually lose. And what is shameful is the fact that it is the members of our legislature that are crying, those who have the pen and the paper to change the trajectory of our country. Those who have the ability by now, the whole process of registration or whatever, the whole thing should have been called to a halt. The legislature, our authorities should have called everything grounded to a halt, cancel the entire process and start to do it again. Literally this time to get it right. But let's go to one thing. We are asking the Election Commission to do something they are not able to do. It's impossible. They have no money to do the type of things they're supposed to actually do. They have the expertise they do not have, because they don't have the kind of resources to attract the right type of expertise. They do not have the logistical ability either. They do not have the equipment to do what they're supposed to actually do. So basically what they're doing, they're pretending to be doing what they were supposed to be doing. Number three, Mr. So, nobody in Liberia knows how to independently verify who a Liberian citizen is. So please tell me how you can have a credible election when you do not even know who your citizens are. Anybody can come from Guinea and show up to the Ministry of Health and say, I am a Liberian. Sometimes they don't even need to prove much. They can get a Liberian passport. They can get a Liberian health certificate or birth certificate. So what we are looking at is a small microcosm of the symptom of a bigger problem. According to the UN 2 years ago, it is only around 37 to 40% of Liberians being born have any record of birth anywhere in the country. So over 60% of our people have no record that they are Liberians or they even exist. So people are looking at a smaller issue. The issue that's happening in Bombay and Cape Mount is a symptom. It's a bigger problem. We are unable to determine the integrity of our elections because we don't know who Liberians are. That is the reason why this stuff is being enabled. And instead of our legislature, our governments, and our institutions looking at correcting these things at the fundamental level, no, we're pretending like we can just wave a voodoo magic wand and determine who a Liberian is because the way they can talk or because the way they look or how much they know about Liberia.
Well, you actually hit the nail on the head. And just to backtrack here, for discussion purposes and to give our audience a clear sense is, and you are quite correct, this whole thing started 2017 when the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia mandated, they asked them to do it. Yep. I'm not saying we beg you, but they were asked to do it and it must be done. Yep. Interestingly, Leo, The very government, and that's why the opposition, I don't believe in any of them. That has been my talking point. You have member of the legislature, the 103, they either be, they are either government, they are either oppositions, or they are itself independent, which I don't even believe in them. And I guess there is a committee responsible with oversight responsibility. It's on the Elections Commission. I can't remember when last, but I know the Election Commission went there and they asked for money and there was no money. They have a budget that what they should be prioritizing is not being prioritized. Yeah, now everybody freaking out, everybody busting their hair out because election is next door now. And I quite agree with you. They want magic to take place. And now you're hearing some politicians, they're going to be taking rags. Their supporters, they're going to be taking rag. You have a lawmaker, Sibu, who also said was going to a function. I don't know where economic function, but he was going there with his family. But he knows all of the details, protocols of even Senator Darius Dillon, then he himself. And what is that amazed me in the whole thing was, as a lawmaker, for God's sake, maybe tell me a little bit about Canada. When those sort of things happen, the very first thing that comes out of the lawmaker mouth is to condemn the situation and call for investigation.
And even call for comment.
Yeah, but this guy came out definitively that they want to kill him, and not just only kill him, they are coming after them. What kind of men and women do we have? How can we have these people to put up a piece of legislation?
I think, first of all, it's a serious lack of leadership. First of all, period. Bling, bling. It shocks me in Liberia whenever there is an opportunity for someone to step forward and show some real leadership, people throw it away. Let me give you a picture of what things could have looked like, whether it's with Senator Darius Dillon or anybody else. If you were stone attacked and you believe the government was involved, if I were in your shoes, this is a beautiful opportunity to show some leadership that no one in the country has shown. This was a beautiful opportunity to come up, because remember, the Liberians who are being used to perpetrate that violence are Liberians as well. As much as most of them may not even know what they're doing. They're just following orders from their leaders or whatever that is. This was a beautiful opportunity, in my opinion, for Senator Dillon to come out and say, you know what happened today was unfortunate. And I believe my life is at stake. But I want to urge all Liberians to remain calm. Because at the end of the day, it's our brothers and sisters that are being used to perpetrate this. And I want to let those brothers and sisters know who were involved that, please, what you did today was wrong. And we will initiate our own investigation from the Senate, but we will also ask the government to investigate, but we'll also write letters to our international partners, bringing their attention to the situation. But we do not want anybody taking the law into their own hands. Because if you go and stone because you were stoned, it is Liberian that you'll be warning, period. And number two, this presidency, period, I care less who is there, Mr. So, deserves everybody utmost respect. Even if you manage to elect an armed robber, convince Liberians, and you put an armed robber into that seat, you owe your respect to the Liberian presidency. It's not about an individual. So if you don't like it, the next time you know your job is harder for you now to go out there, you know what kind of job you need to do to get votes, and to move this person from power because you don't think they're fit to be there. But this attitude what we have in Liberia, that when somebody is elected and we feel the person is incompetent and the person is not doing their job or whatever, so it means it's an open field. You can insult them, you can denigrate them. You're not doing it to them. You're denigrating the seat of the presidency. You are normalizing it. But tomorrow, when your own person get there now, you expect that we should hold it sacred. And I myself may disagree. Somebody else may disagree that your own person is incompetent too, based on their definition. That is the reason why the seat of the presidency, in my opinion, you can criticize, don't get me wrong. You can point out the flaws of the presidency, don't get me wrong. But you can do that in some sense of civility. You can do that, short of violence. You can do that in all sorts of ways to display. In fact, you will be educating Liberians more when you show the flaws of the government and, in a space of civility and not confrontation. I say this to everybody. When you corner people, they have no choice but to fight back. So let's stop finding a way to corner everybody in Liberia. I do not want George Weah government to fail. I pray to God that it should succeed, whether you believe it or not. Because as a Liberian, if George Weah government fails, you would make him my job harder. You're taking us back 20 more years again. And we all will have to go there and fight for it. So I pray to God that every government that comes to power, whether I like it or not, I hope it succeeds. If it doesn't, We will all suffer it. So I'm not here to say Georgia government will succeed or not, but I will say Senator DeLone and all the other people in Liberia, just think about it this way. Whenever tough situations come up where you feel you are under the gun, flip it around. It's a beautiful opportunity for some serious leadership. It's a beautiful opportunity to step to the plate and say, let me show you how we need to conduct ourselves as public officials. Let me show Liberians, because since the president will not do it, since other senators will not do it, I will make sure I show the distinction that we should conduct ourselves in a different way, whether you like me or not. But not just to come back and say, because the other person did it too, I myself, because we can say that the only thing Liberian people can listen to.
Yeah, so then Leo, it comes back to this point here, the audacity or this sort of tradition to both the oppositions and the government. It's a blame game. You do it, I will do it. In fact, Helen Johnson Sirleaf did it the last time around. You didn't say anything. We want to do it now, we will do it. So is there any point in time that we're going to see this narrative being changed? Is there? And this is why most of the times I front on the opposition, because governments everywhere in the world, even in the USA, you see Air Force One here, Donald Trump going all the places. It is taxpayer money. He goes there, he talk crazy thing. But if you watch the town hall meeting to Joe Biden, it's to his disadvantage in that he does not have the state power. So his job is to fine-tune his language. I yet to see one of these days, Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, Darius Dillon, Akaras Gray, Tom Fala, T-File, whatever name they call them, to sit after Capitol building to even have a lunch and sit down and say, hey, this is about Liberia. Let us put a piece of legislation together. Will we ever see that happening on planet Earth? With the behavior, the immaturity, the political intolerance of both groups, the opposition, the governments, the advocates community, will we see that political tolerance ever exist in our Thai history?
I am shocked that I would say, I am sad to tell you, in this current dispensation, I can't say yes. I would start to sadly say no, and I will tell you why I say no. Because people have misled our people in Liberia to believing going to the legislature, for example, you're supposed to be the biggest humanitarian on the planet to earn a seat in the legislature. Why will we have Liberia as a country, right? Think about the way our people conduct themselves. And I'm talking about people who go to actual leadership. Why will you be going into the legislature to become a representative or a senator? And the first thing you think about, the only way we can solve the education problem in Liberia to build your own school. The only way we can solve the healthcare problem to build your own clinic. The only way we can solve the road problem, depending you get money, you take a yellow machine carrier to the other road where you know it aligns with you politically, it will get you political fame to fix it. So you're not thinking that your job in the legislature is to proffer arguments or bills and or legislation that will force the Ministry of Public Works to do its job when it comes to fixing the road. You're not thinking that as a legislator, your job is to hold the president's feet to the fire while our schools are underperforming, Mr. President. You are the chief. You are the manager in charge. It is your responsibility to get your Ministry of Education to do what it's supposed to do. You are not thinking about your job as holding the president's feet to the fire to say, Mr. President, it's forced to think that 500 million is going to solve our problem. What are you doing to make sure that we raise more money? But let me put it this way. Another way for me, I will practically say is simple. The only solution to this problem, quit the political parties. Mr. So, what kind of message you will send when political parties call meetings, when they show up, you got 10 measly people sitting down there and, looking at each other's face, dry. I had nobody there to sing Battle Cry song, nobody there to even buy them cookies for lunch. Just look at the picture. Try to put it in your head. I think Liberians should start quitting political parties in mass, because when you do it, the value of your vote goes through the roof. When you CDC, your vote automatic. CDC don't care. They know you will vote CDC. When you UP, your vote is automatic. You will vote UP. But guess what? If 75% of Liberians are not party affiliated with nobody, the work politicians will have to do, they will know their job is cut off for them to get out there, because nobody voting for you automatically because they're part of your party. I think it's a simple passive solution. Quit your political party. Is of no value to you. This is the only way. Yes, the problem. Let me just say this. All of the people you see in political power, majority of them got 20 more years to their lifetime, 20 to 25 more years. The majority are people who are only here for the next 15 to 20 years. So what they're doing is they're only making decisions for their lifetime. They don't care about those who will be here 50 years after. Imagine people telling you they won't change the constitution because the road is bad during the rainy season. So they won't change the election time, amend the constitution to change the election time because of bad rules. How will you change your constitution to accommodate your short-term needs? So nobody having conversation about fixing the roads. So everybody can get access. The people living in the interior too need to travel during rainy season. But you won't change the constitution to only go there during the dry season. So you don't care about what happens with the people who live there during the rainy season. Instead of fixing the roads, you're asking people to amend the entire constitution just to make it conducive for you to go campaign during the dry season, but not to fix the roads.
We're gonna put a number out here to see if we're gonna have a few calls. But before that, I want us talking about trucking to let folks hear from themselves, and this is courtesy of state-owned media, Liberia News Agency. Kwame Opa Weeks was recently at the bombing border just outside of the bridge. Let's hear it directly from the house's mouth.
We blame the plane. We're not blaming the plane because for now we're seeing this car, and this car windows got to be all passenger car.
Okay, so what do you do? Walk us through. So when the cars come, what do you do?
We stop them and then ask them If you are talking, try to put the passenger, put people down, and then go back.
Oh, okay. So when you see a lot of passengers on there, you guys, why if they don't want to put them down?
No, well, we don't violate, we don't take, action. We just talk to them. If no understanding, we leave them alone because our car or anything for or Tesla, those are the ones broke this rock. Yes, we try stopping it and we're violating it out of pass.
Oh, so and they were carrying people.
Yes,
as we speak.
Yes.
Did they say who were these people they were carrying?
They did not get no information because they never stop.
So you don't have people out there. You're just stopping. You're just saying that they shouldn't go. But if they want to go, you don't stop them.
Yeah, we don't violate them.
Your name, sir?
George M. Barry.
George M. Barry. What do you do for a living?
I'm a cyclist.
You ride bike?
Yes.
And why is it important for you to leave work today and come stand out here?
I gave my bag to my friend, and then because I know this is our interest. Yes, so this is why I'm here.
It's the love for your county.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barry. So let's talk to this guy. Let's talk to this guy right here. Yours says, don't deny us our right to choice or to choose, basically, our leader. Stop trucking. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we got it today. Anyway, first of all, I'm Samson Sion.
Okay, Mr. Sion.
Yeah, I'm from Amadou Town.
Okay.
And we got here the morning people to make sure that they create politicians we got in our country. Like from here, Monrovia is very short. Like from here, Grandjida, like from here, Sano, like from here, other country. But they put use our country to help people from Monrovia, from my GV. Yes. To go and register here. Our population are grow, and the people that are here, they not reach to that amount. Now, we that are here now in our country, we don't able to make decisions for ourselves because the ugly people, they greedy, the power grease.
And basically, you guys know the problem of the county, and these people that they are bringing in the county don't know actually what's happening.
They will not decide for ourselves.
Okay.
They will not decide. We got to decide who go for us. But the people bringing people from all over. If I that Nana Une here alone, we're talking about bombing, we're talking about Ketman, we're talking about Bapolo. When you go on Sway Maga Road, the holding people there, you talking about Ketman, the holding people there, from Saturday on, all was alive, the holding people there. So
when
we
you
say
say
no.
they, who are those politicians you're blaming?
We accuse Mile Talo. Talo is one of the men.
Why you say mainly? He just says Talo and
yes,
Snow.
because he have been order the NTA. He have been order the NTA to carry on the eye. You got all NTA that coming in here for Taro. Basically, they got 11 NTA on the road.
Okay.
Pulling people from all walks of life.
And so who has the other trucks? If
okay, we have VIP. That bus is from Ghana.
Yeah.
We know we got information on it from Ghana.
Who owns it?
That is for Snow.
So Snow get foreign buses.
Yeah, foreign buses.
Talo using local buses.
Yeah, local buses.
How authentic is this information that you're giving us?
The information is fight up.
I mean, that's what you say.
Yeah, I'm saying it, and I can get proof. I can prove it.
You can, tell us what's the proof.
That the proof is we got reliable proof here. We got video. We got video clear. In fact, first of all, when they process before it start, we saw we saw Baba, the late senator, his body was used in the country as campaign. Baba, his body was used as campaign in the country, and up to now he stay on the mobile. One of the cars just passed here in not even 30 minutes. Baba, picture on it. They telling the people, slow telling them.
It is not. Yeah, go ahead.
Slow telling them that Baba is a campaign master chairman. He will make sure he will win. So he using it as their body. He using their body as campaign chairman. He said it on Baba funeral. He worldwide. So we said today, we here till the end. We make sure that those that register in the place, they will never come back here to do vote there. Oh, so our people will decide for ourselves.
So basically, but you're going to plot on election day. We're
going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We'll make sure that the people from Moravia, Maikiwi, and other areas, they will never enter in the country.
What method will you use? That would be something that would be illegal. Okay.
We'll do it peacefully.
Okay.
We'll make sure we ask the government to get our protection. We just got here today, but it will be more than this.
Yeah, because that's what caught my eye. I'm on my way to Grand Cape Mount County, and to just see people stand in the middle of the road, on the highway, protesting, carrying placard. Other ones say Montserrado County shouldn't decide for Bombay County. Stop trucking. Voting is our right. Please respect it. Another one says we deserve better today, tomorrow, and this 2020. Stop trucking. We didn't get registered because of the trucking of Zogos. Stop trucking.
And I will tell you this.
Yeah.
It comes to election. We're calling the international community to come and spearhead the election because it will be a very bloody war. I don't lie to you. I'm seeing it, and it will happen.
But those threats you're making.
And now a threat.
But when you say there will be bloody war.
Official reference.
Okay. Leo. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. That was a clip there. It's going to be a bloody war. These wordings, these Liberians, they hear from their national leaders. It draws us back to the points of lack of political tolerance. They speak out of emotions. They behave like our man Donald Trump here, want to speak to their base or their bases because those are things that they are hearing. These are real-time people. This is not a reality. And that's the reporting of a state radio, Liberian news agency, Kwame Opa Weeks. We try reaching the MTA authority to find out from them how these bosses, as it was reported, they yet to get to our call. We called Director Moses Carter, who happens to be the Director for Public Affairs at the Liberian National Police, has now returned our call. We reached out to the National Election Commission. We are hoping Director Heron Flomo, who is the Director for Communication, promised to appear sometime on this network, still doing our due diligence to give them the fair shot. But if you listen to this here out of Liberian, there will be a bloody war. And we're seeing those very wordings being echoed by our national leaders. What does that tell you?
It just tells me the whole entire country has collapsed with no leadership. Because you have to realize that people are at a state where everybody is worried. Things are hard in the country, and the country is still recovering from all types of things. So people are looking for something to be hopeful for. People are looking for somebody that can show them a pathway, and to say that we will struggle, but the truth is we have a pathway to get to where we want to get. Instead, what people are finding is everybody for themselves. Everybody only want to fight for themselves, and majority of the country are poor people. There's only around 7 to 10% of the country, and that can afford it. The rest of the country is poor. So if all those that can afford it only fight for themselves, and they fight for themselves at the detriment of the poor people, and then what they do is they subject the poor people to nothing short of slavery. And the reason I'm using this word slavery very strongly is because the way our people are being abused in Liberia by all sides, when it comes to the issue, what is the lack of leadership on the issue with rape that we see escalating to a level, and rape is not a new thing, but the levels that we are seeing it escalating to is insane. It comes down to armed robbery. It comes down to cash violence, where our leaders will inject themselves in the communities because they want to win vote and tell you, if you don't vote for me, this will not happen. But if you vote for me, then this will happen. And subject our people who need to survive that they have to make that decision, to the point where they can assemble our young people to their party headquarters for more than 10 years, but still not run one workshop on the party headquarters to teach our young people how to be entrepreneurs, to get out there and make a living for themselves, but promise all of them that they will give all of them government jobs. This is a collapse of leadership. And what happens whenever there's a collapse of leadership? If everybody have to fight for themselves, the poor people need to figure out how they will fight for themselves. And many a times, they will allow themselves to be used or aligned with anybody who they feel will give them the chance to take their pound of flesh or to take some sort of revenge. We forget too quickly. That's what descended to the war. When leadership collapsed, because it got to the place where we're in a political situation in a country where things got so tense that everybody had to fight for themselves. Even the government had to find a way to fight off things when, you know, other people were encroaching on them. Leadership collapsed. So what ended up happening? Everybody was willing to do whatever it took to destroy. If they had to destroy anybody to get their way, they did. We went up to 7 warring factions at one point. There was no leadership. So the danger that we're sitting on, when you hear innocent people having the audacity and the bravery to come and block the main road, knowing that they could be arrested, knowing that they could be put in jail because what they're doing is a crime. Let's be honest, that's disobedience. You don't have the right to block the highway and have no fear whatsoever. Number 2, we are sitting on a very tricky security situation. We ain't got enough police people to even police Monrovia. Come to talk about the whole country. So when we start to allow people to get upset, people to get frustrated and become hopeless, they say, "He's who down fears no fall." So when people realize that they are somewhere where you can do nothing to them that is, you know, that will harm them anymore because they are just bad off, they will do whatever it takes, including joining some things that we all know will lead our country back into a place of instability. And unfortunately, it would be a humanitarian disaster, God forbid, if we ever go down that route.
Is it too late?
I would say no, it's not too late. I'm someone who's very optimistic about things, but I can say we're losing ground too fast. And unless we can have a direct, intentional reaction at this point, in a way that allows people to know that there is something they can still hold on to, it might just get late. But I would not give up and say it's too late. No, it's not. And that's the reason why some of us who will usually not be talking, not just talking now, going back to Liberia. I spent 10 years, Mr. So, trying to raise $2 million to go back to Liberia. People laugh at me in my community. They say they want thing and they want bid it, $2 million. And when you ever bid it, I want to get gray hair now before you will even bid it. Because nobody understands what it takes to raise $2 million. Recently, we're about to make another big announcement. We'll be doing something major with our brothers and sisters who are street involved and drugs involved, called Zogos. A big announcement that will really take the country to a new direction. So we are working on these things to give our people some glimmer of hope. And that's what I want to tell Liberians. We may not be able to get the government to provide it. We may just not, to be honest, neither the opposition. But we need to start evaluating ourselves in the diaspora. Can we insert ourselves into the conversation in a practical way and show some tangible results that people will be like, you know what? If the government and opposition will not do it, maybe our brothers and sisters in the diaspora might be able to muster the courage and mobilize what they need to do to give us a semblance that we can depend and hope on something, that something good can happen.
I think that's a valid point because in that, what comes to mind here, okay, if we are to really impact decision making and to influence our people and not just only sit down here with sound bites and rare meats and all of it, don't vote. If I'm from a village here and the people can't get a realtor pipe-borne water and they're still going down to the creek, and we as a community base here, we can't even figure out how to erect a hand pump yet. I want to tell them, don't vote for this person here. Tell this guy with this man with what? 3 married, 2, 3 women, 5, 6 children. He's not sure what he's going to eat a day, but this is the politicians who have everything into his advantage, bringing back a rise. House is leaking, putting roof over the head. Can I convince that person logically, reasonably to say, even though I know this guy is he has a bad policy, will it be realistic to tell that person, don't vote for that man because the man put roof over your head, the man gave you rice and thing? Is that logic?
It's not logical because the person knows you say now in America, your fridge is full, and they know that they will have to go. The people are worried about feeding their family for the next 2 days, Mr. Soul. And they know that there is no other way. It's not like there is another option. So if it means them securing a one bag arrest and voting for this man and hoping that they will get another bag arrest, they will actually do it. But again, I keep telling people that people say everything in Liberia is personal, right? Think about it. What politicians are offering people, Mr. So, is so minute, it's so irrelevant that it's sad that we who sit in the diaspora are not able to say, you know what, let's start to change the narrative. Let's provide other options too. People are providing people rest. You know how much for one bag of rain in Liberia? $25 US, Mr. So. Let's be honest. $25 US. This is money you can't even put your gas half tank in your own car with. But here is the excuse we got. We've convinced ourselves that our country is so corrupt that we ourselves can go there and do anything. Your own are your own. If you tell me you cannot figure out what to do with Liberia, then I'm sorry for you. Then don't put your mouth in Liberia's problem. Don't talk about things that you can't do. If you said you've given up on Liberia because there is nothing good that can happen in Liberia, those of us that are in the diaspora, we can't even figure out how to help our own family. Forget about the whole country. And let me warn Liberians in the diaspora, stop fooling yourself. You cannot solve Liberia's problems. Stop Liberia not asking you to solve its problems. All Liberia need you to do is do your part within your means. If it means helping your family to get to a place of self-sufficiency, that's your responsibility. That's your contribution to Mama Liberia. If it means helping your little village, because when you left from there, you used to go, and there was no public latrine there. You used to defecate everywhere. If it means helping them to get one public latrine, which will cost you $3,000 to build a decent one, that's your contribution to Mama Liberia. Look, let's criticize the government. Let's point out the flaws. But where's your stake in the game? If you are scared of your own country because you might be corrupted of it, then you questioning why investors cannot go there. So Liberians in the diaspora, let's start to show Liberians another way. Let's start to make them be hopeful. People have been abused in Liberia for so long that anybody who does the least, you become a hero. So let's start occupying those spaces too. We who say we are the good people, let's start becoming a hero too by occupying those spaces and doing it properly for the right reasons.
Talking about heroes, it's like this sort of culture, or it's a tradition in Liberia now. We glorify bad behaviors, we reward, and just how people were rewarded. This little kid here, I call him kid because he's not closer to my age. I can say that if I even mean Sekou Sherry with Freedom FM. This is the guy who humiliated the sitting vice president of the Republic of Liberia. Joy Howard Taylor, even though she made some ridiculous statements, politicians are noted for that. You eat, I eat, and all of that. Okay, that are come and go. But this is a guy who sits, and this fellow who works for national government, he works for the government, the securities apparatus, NSA, that his network. And this guy humiliated the sitting vice president, and not a single word, only some sort of a justification came from the government of Liberia to Ministry of Information, and he returns home the other day. He was like a champion. He was signing, I don't know, he was signing book and signing, invited, I saw the video, invited into some sort of program to speak on national. What the heck is he that? What does he know that he want to talk about? So that just brings to mind the country is losing vision. There's no sense of direction. And we, the civilians, because the leaders does not have the vision, as a result, the ordinary Liberians are following the same path of their leader.
True.
How can we get out of this mess?
The only way we can get out of this mess is if we can create, increase the critical mass of people on the other side who say there's a better way. And why am I saying that? Listen, so most of our brothers and sisters from the diaspora who say there's a better way, when they go to Liberia, they behave worse than the people in Liberia. So how can you convince someone in Liberia who's never traveled anywhere before? Someone like me, I've never seen normal day. I'm young enough to tell you that I've never seen normal day. From the time I begin to know myself and where I could understand things happening around me, it's been war. I don't know what normal day looks like. So the current state of affairs in Liberia does not alarm me. It's not supposed to alarm me. The only reason why it alarms me now is because I've come to Canada and, I've seen a different life. I've seen what normal looks like. The people who live in Liberia, my age group, nothing alarms them. That's normal. That's what they've always known. They're not aspiring to something different because they don't know something different. You can aspire to something different because you saw a different Liberia before now. So in your mind, you know Liberia can get to a better place if the right things are done. But my age group, that the problem we are having, my age group not aspiring to anything different because they've never seen Liberia ever. In fact, things are better now because no guns are shooting anymore. So this is even better. In fact, all they might hope for sometimes to just have only this. They don't need anything more. That is the reason why I keep stressing on those of us in the diaspora. We are the only people that have an opportunity to increase the critical mass of people on the other side who can start to show difference. And it doesn't only have to be in politics. Look at our pastors in the diaspora. And you know, community leaders, county associations. Where are we? We're nowhere in the conversation unless where there is time to go run for an office. Where are we? So you go to Liberia, you blame the young people in Liberia for following politicians and selling their votes and all that stuff. What else would they do? Did you offer them something different? Or you want them to follow you and sing songs behind you, and then you yourself start to call them militants as well? Mr. Soul, please help me. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I don't know. How many of us from the diaspora have gone back to Liberia and conducted ourselves differently for young people to say, oh, they ought to be brother here can act different, oh, or they ought to be sister here can act different, oh. When we go to Liberia, we say the country dirty. When we buy our mineral waters and drink it, we fling the bottle through the window of the car. And then we turn around in the same breath and say the country is dirty. When we go to Liberia, we go to the nightclubs and bars at night to have fun. When we're coming home, we have a bottle of Guinness in one hand and our hand is on the steering in the other hand. You know you can't do that nonsense here in the US or Canada, wherever. And when you see a policeman, you bribe them. And then you say the country lawless. Who made it lawless? When a policeman stops you, whether it was for bribe or not, you decide to disrespect them immediately without even allowing them to even talk to you what they're for. Then you turn around and say the people in Liberia minds need transformation. No, maybe when we start to conduct ourselves here in a different way, the people in our family, the people close to us in Liberia will start to be like, and you know, but the other men can behave different. No, and you know, when they come, they can be. In my own family, I've seen it work. I've seen people in my family become inspired just because of how I conduct myself, not because I told them anything. I've seen people made up their mind to go back to school only because they were associated with me and they see the benefits, the tangible benefits of education. And they've seen sometimes that I could have helped them do something so great, but I'm unable to because they are not educated or they cannot simply read and write. So they have been motivated on their own, not needing anything from me to go back to school. Can we do that at least? Let's forget about solving the big issues. Can we start that the Liberian Association in Minnesota can work this year and say, you know what, we would take one public school every year to do a massive renovation of one public school every year. We only need 100 people to pay $100 the whole year. That's $10,000 US. You can renovate a small public school in Liberia, and, you know, and give it a facelift that people will be like, wow, this is possible. Why are we not doing that? Who's stopping us?
When that is done, they will potentially listen to us and tell them, hey, this is the decision because we are infected, we are impacted their life. But that is not happening.
Exactly. And my thing is, the government did not stop us. No government stopped you, Mr. So, from going to Liberia with $10,000 going in one Lake community school, and, you know, and say we have decided this year to reconstruct. Or because some of the students say you need to break it down and just rebuild it to build a better school for our children in this community. You think when you do that, Mr. Soul, right? And then you go back 1 year later and tell them, say, my people, election coming. You don't follow these people that are coming to get your bag of rest. You know why they will follow you and believe you? Because they know you've done something that even the politicians cannot do for them. Their children now go to a better school. And they know that when you tell them, say, we will work with you to make things better, they can believe you. That's why they believe the politicians. Because when the politicians say, we'll get you 10 bags of rice, they bring the 10 bags of rice. We show up there with big mouth and tell the people how we live in America. And then when people ask us, what have we done? We say remittances from Liberian constitute a huge part of the economy. Let's be frank, Mr. Soul. Those remittances, we don't send it back for development projects. We send it to our family members. Your allowance, you send your mom or your auntie, and, you know, all combined. Imagine if we were mobilizing money with that kind of power to say we want to target one community school every year, one local public community school. Imagine the impact we could have made as a community.
So there's a double sword factor to it. We here, we are not reliable, we are not trusted, we are corrupt. As soon too far people put money together here, you want to give it to Leo going to buy his own house right there. There's a friction in the whole group, and we are seeing them here. I know time is taken away here. You get a lot to do here as well. But I'm also troubled by our national leaders, and that point goes to the lawmakers. There is a National Rehabilitation Commission that I know under the statutory laws of the Republic of Liberia should be the organs of national government, should be the institution that should be responsible for the rehabilitations of war-wearied, war-affected folks. That commission, I haven't heard one day of extensive deliberation on the part of both houses of government. But I've come to realize the 103 men and women in both houses of government, they are all turned to humanitarian. They are all building, institutions, rehabilitation institutions. So the question becomes, what happens when these people go for re-elections and the voters have their own saying? What becomes of the institution? What happens to the institution that is under the statutory law of the Republic of Liberia that is responsible to rehabilitate people? They must be funded. And it is within the purview of these lawmakers to make sure to make that allotment by a piece of legislation, so allocate when they're making their budget proposal. But that is not happening. I never saw my senator here come and say, I'm going to build a rehabilitation institute for people. I don't know whether that is happening in Canada. You can tell me why these people. It comes back to the point of these people in both houses of government to sit down and address, to come to a common ground to address some of these critical issues affecting our country. That is a high hypocrisy and deception.
In fact, that is true. And let me tell you what's going on. And, it's a lack of education in Liberia. Our people have intentionally deceived our people into believing them. Let's look at an example. In Canada, what gets done in Parliament? When the Prime Minister sends his budget to Parliament, and, to say, like, my budget this year is 300 billion or whatever, and we need it approved, every parliamentarian has a budget expert in their office. Every parliamentarian have a budget expert in their office. And that budget expert job is to take that budget, go through it line by line, because politicians are not budget experts. Let's be frank. They don't have financial people. That expert would then set the politician down and say, let me explain to you what this budget says in summary. If you vote for this budget, here is the decision you will be making. Here's how it will go. So are you satisfied with it? Then the politician will be like, no, because first of all, I don't see any appropriation in it for my constituency. And, we have a serious problem with a bridge that's broken down. And if this president wants my vote, he has to demonstrate why, and, tell me why we shouldn't build that bridge when there's a key infrastructure in our community. Then he will go back to the president and say, I can vote for this bill, or Mr. Prime Minister, I cannot vote for this bill simply because I have a bridge in my community that was supposed to be built 3 years ago, and that bridge links my city to an important commercial hub in the city or in the country. So we need to talk about that bridge. The president will be like, or the Prime Minister will be like, okay, let's talk about it. Now, remember, he's not fighting for his personal project. He's fighting for a public infrastructure. Prime Minister will be like, yes, you know what? I agree. Okay, I can provide you all the money in this budget for your bridge. But what if I give you 70% of it? And, will you be able to work with that to go forward? And I must be like, okay, then I can vote for it. So now he's going to his constituents to tell them that he's represented them. And the reason he's voting for that budget, because that budget will ensure that the long broken bridge in his community is now going to be repaired because the government has reflected that in the budget. What do we do in Liberia? We do the direct opposite of it. We worry about personal project. We're even in the budget, we're appropriating money to our private clinics. Lawmakers are appropriating money to their private clinics. Instead of debating what are the serious needs in infrastructure needs in your community and picking one or two most important ones for every budget cycle to twist the president's arm, because the president needs a vote for the budget to pass. Look at the opposition, for example. They say the opposition, but they all vote in different directions. How can you say you are opposition, you are collaborating as opposition when the vote comes on the floor? You all vote and you all got the majority. You got enough votes to stop the president budget. You got enough vote to change the decision on the matter. But you can't even hold together. You can't even figure out what you want. So in my opinion, the money that's been allocated to lawmakers for staff in their office, let them stop hiring their cousins and their aunties and their uncles and their nephews and their children. Let them start to hire the professionals who would advise them accordingly based on the decisions that actually need to be made to benefit the Liberian people.
Okay, I don't usually do this, Leo, but I have to do certain things here. Let me just put myself on the screen too so that I will see it, because sometimes when we are having this conversation, people think it's funny, and I got to call people out because we will try to beat rational senses in people here who refuse to listen. Let me go back to it. Let me go here and I will come back to it. Mr. Morris Karen, hopefully I'm calling your name. Why you always look angry when you're talking in your face, Mr. Talk Show host from Canada? First of all, your information is wrong. He's not a host from Canada. This is how you guys carry deception. And he came back to say, you guys are so bitter for nothing. No grateful Liberian.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see what can help out here because people need help. These are some of the rehabilitations we are talking about. Yes, Mr. Karen, I'm not happy. There's nothing that worth me smiling when I hear every day children are being raped. The future of the country is being destroyed. And for me to come sit down here and make fun out of it, no. I am not happy when I found out that in Sierra Leone, according to the Institute of Public Peace from Harvard, they sent thousands of people to go do a research to help to restore, to rehabilitate, to integrate these war-affected people in their countries, Sierra Leone. Yes, then I'm jealous. It doesn't worth me smiling. Yes, I am not happy when there's no intervention to assess the future generations of our country in helping them for personal interaction so that it will be accommodated, so that society will see some level of value in there. Then if I come here and my guest here to providing some wisdoms, we are having an intellectual conversation and nothing, and you want me to smile? No, I can't be smiling. My country is in a serious trouble. And I'm not saying it is only the president's fault. That's not what any of us suggesting here. We are saying we need to double up. So can you be happy with this sort of stuff, Leo?
Mr. Saw, just put it short. Nothing we are talking here is funny. This is not funny business. This is serious business. This is the lives of people depend. As we're speaking to you tonight, a young little girl in Liberia somewhere might get raped as we're talking tonight. As we're speaking tonight, somebody in Liberia may die because of hunger. Whether you call them a Zogo, whatever you want to call them. As we're speaking tonight, a mother may have to deal with the consequences of losing their child during childbirth or losing the mother itself during childbirth. There is nothing funny about this. And if you find this funny, then I'm sorry. I think you are listening to the wrong group of people because it's not funny to me. It's sad. I am just grateful that we're not even in tears sharing it when we talk about it. We've managed to find a way to cope with difficult conversations and, to not let it break us down. But there is nothing funny about this. And if you want somewhere for comedy, tune into a comedy channel. I don't think the last time I checked your show, Mr. So, this was not a comedy channel. Absolutely.
And we will try to help people out here that this is how serious the problem is in. Like today, just before coming on air, the magistrate of Grand Jida County. Now, if you listen to the tones of the politicians and you listen to ordinary Liberians, like the audio we're just playing here, that is from a government state or broadcast corporation. Lena is like Al Jazeera, is like Associated Press, Liberia News Agency, whatever like your name. Those are real-time people were talking. And if you listen to the tunes of the politicians, how the blog going to be shared. And guess what? In my own country, Grand Jida, there was an attempted episode today where they tried to burn down the magistrate.
Wow.
Magistrate of the county. A house. That picture, that image was sent. We hope to verify those information, but so this to show that there's an anger. And what happens when the outburst of people inner part is always have a wrong, is always desperate. These are things people are talking. And you thinking here that we must come be showing my teeth. I'm an old grown man. My teeth are not even correct. So why should I can't smile for people to look at my teeth? So Mr. Moritz, please, this is a serious problem. It's not the issue of who for, who not for, but we want these people to do what is right.
But just to even interject that, Mr. So that's the problem we have. Everybody wants to find whose fault it is, but nobody wants to think through innovative solutions, practical, innovative ways that we can tackle the problem, because you say you're not part of the government at the government fault, so then not your business to find a solution. Or you're not part of the opposition at the opposition fault, so then not your business. We need to move from that place. And I've said to people, now we need to be holding people accountable, Mr. So. If you're going to come in the public and tell us that you fully understand our problem and analyze it, you better also start thinking through what are your practical.
Yeah, the interesting thing, and that's what we do for us here. And this is what we don't sanction voices here. This is LPR. We see this network as the face of Liberia by nomenclature of our name. and to get voices. So we not fall for the government, we're not against, we not fall for the opposition, we're not against. Just how we hold stakeholders accountable, we'll also hold individuals who will come here, call in, or even write some sort of careless statements without providing something tangible. Then, of course, we're going to hold you accountable, because we don't want false information to go out there. That's why this number is here. You can call and express your view and opinions. You know, that's why we are noted for, and that's why we keep doing. So nothing going to deter or. But this is a challenge that we have, and in these sort of tough times, we just have to be resilient, forceful, keep the civility in place to have this sort of conversation, so that we'll make sure. Because, and I know Liberians are drowned. Believe me, if I take off my coat just now and butt naked and start doing some sort of thing here, people will love it.
You will get 50,000 views so quickly without even realizing how fast your views will go up.
What is the point of that? What goes in the minds of our people? Why are we behaving like that?
It's very simple. I think it's because we don't.
That, Mr. Mulba, the number is also on WhatsApp. Let me just put it there. It's also on WhatsApp. If you call that number 682, let me just put it there. Yeah, okay. Let me just write that. Put it there quick here. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, Leo. Let me.
No, I was saying it's because we've dumbed down the conversation so much that majority of our people are not able to participate when the conversation is elevated. And we are not humble enough to be willing to listen and learn, and and ask important questions about things we need clarification on. So as a result of that, the easiest thing to do is to listen to the guy who can dumb it down to the point where it makes no logical sense, and they just say whatever comes to their mind, or they follow a certain audience and say whatever you want to hear. To be honest with you, stupidity attracts a lot of audience. That's just the fact about it, because it's easier to excuse your own ignorance by looking at somebody else who is even dumber than you. That's how I put it. You feel very smart when you look at somebody who you can clearly see that you're smarter than them. It's easier for you to excuse your own blemishes. But when you listen to people who are trying to elevate the conversation, you realize that they might be going beyond your reach. Instead of you humbling yourself and say, let me listen, let me learn, let me understand, let me go and do a little more research about some of the things these guys talk about and see what it is. No, you wouldn't want to do that because you think that would be degrading yourself. So it's easier for everybody to trump to the nonsense, because at the end of the day, we've been used to the nonsense for too long, and it's become the new standard.
Yeah, unfortunately, the bad news for him, usually our discussion here is not pivot in the direction of what they want to hear. You, our audience, we tell you what you need to know. You also have the right not to listen to it, not to take our talking point. But if you come here to say, okay, maybe your friends are going to be cursing George Weah, or you're going to be cursing Alexander Cummings, I'm just going to point out my own observations, the flaws, their policy, how they go about to do things, and I will express my views and opinion. Not necessarily makes it right, but as a Liberian, I must do it in that way, but it must be done with civility. Unfortunately, this is what lacking, and that's the problem we have. We have people now, internet is so cheap here. Everybody have turned to broadcaster. I don't know whether people know the distinction of being a public relation officer, being a broadcaster, or being an entertainer. All of those three has been, they blend them together and they have become whole. So that's some of the problem that we have in society. But I don't think nothing will deter us here, to get this going. What is the news talking about breaking? Let me see here. I think somebody calling here. Maybe they have a question for you. Hello, caller. Good evening or good morning. Where are you calling from?
Actually, because it's like 1:35 in the morning.
Okay. Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Central Europe.
Oh, okay. Wow. Thank you for being awake for this sort of morning hour. What's your name? What's your question?
My name is Patrick Hassan, and I just want to show my gratitude and tell you guys thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And just continue, don't listen to what those people are saying. I mean, there are a lot of ignorant people who does not know the truth or something like that. So thank you guys so much, and I appreciate your hard work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Okay, well, so that's it. Leo, I know time has spent here. We're going to be having this conversation from time to time. I like to have a dialogue with people who get real head, God-given head wisdoms on their shoulder, because I don't have time to waste people who just come and talk, and they can't put forward solution. And that exactly, you are quite correct. People talk and they can't put forward solution. Let me just pick up a call here before right call. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning, sir. This is Alex Malva.
Oh, Mr. Malva, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank God, and thanks to you there, and the studio guest, Leo, my senior brother. Thanks ever so much.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm joining you from India this morning.
Wow,
I've
India.
been knowing my senior brother that we got connected on LinkedIn, a professional site. I has been following a couple of his activities, though I don't know him in person. And subsequently, we became friends on Facebook, knowing him as the leader of, I think, the president for Liberians in Canada. And I must applaud him for the work done, the level of work done so far, because most of us Liberians in the diaspora, we are good at criticizing government and not thinking of innovative ways we can help. So, like, in short, what I want to say here is that currently I'm a student. I'm in India pursuing my master's, but I personally want to reach out to the both of you in studio in whatever way. Yeah, and here in India, I'm not working. I'm a student, like I said. But whatever ways, like Liberians in the diaspora, I need it in terms of helping back home. I mean, I'm really willing to learn in terms of mentorship. I have actually been following Senior Leo here a couple of times. I follow his podcast on Facebook, and I think these are some of the things Liberians out there should be looking into. There is more to do, instead of just going on Facebook, because we all have access to Wi-Fi to see to identify force in society. Yes, because I will have 10 of 15 persons following me on Facebook. If I will come here and think of what can I do, I'm from Bon Country, for example. I have 4 or 5 friends in India here. So what can we do at least by December this year? Can we look at the local Buffet High School, which is a public school? Can we just have it painted, or let's say repainted this year? Even if it is not much, like what he's saying, but we can plan and work around things. I think this is more welcoming, and I really want to reach out. I'm reaching out. Let me not say I want to. I'm reaching out. Maybe we can talk subsequently, so I don't take much of the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I really want to form a network where we can think in such direction and just find ways that we can, work things out instead of just using our time out here. We are learning a lot of good things. We are saying, what life should be. We can be here having 24-hour Wi-Fi, electricity, stable electricity, running water. You go and have your shower. You don't have to take water from the well. Then when you think about Liberia, these things are not just possible. Imagine somebody in Zoetra, somebody in Lofa. How long will it take that person to even understand what it takes to have running water in their homes? Then you out here, you just come on Facebook. Sometimes I really feel hurt. That's why I don't follow most talk show. Today is my first time coming on your show. But when I came, I saw that, my senior brother here has been a studio guest. That's why I got my attention. I've been following. I'm going to also like your page, and I will keep following.
Oh yeah.
Subsequently we can talk more.
Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Please do because LPR is a full-fledged registered institution, both federal and in Liberia. So this is we are building institutions, and I'm also the manner in which information was disseminated in Liberia during the war all helped to get us to where we are, because people were misinformed, and we are the people. We are in the media industry. We are also part of that. Let me get this caller here, and we'll be wrapping up for the rest of the evening. Okay, 609 number. Go ahead quickly before we go. Just lower your monitor. Are you there? 609.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, go ahead quickly.
I'm so happy. First of all, my name is Christopher Butler. I'm calling from the Pennsylvania in Bristol.
Okay.
I appreciate my brother in studio with you. That's my second time listening to him. I think you're on Lpr-Tv. Well, all you gotta say is the truth. And we need to help our country, put our resources together, and see how best we can go and help our nation. I was born in Lokinda, grew up in Lokinda, but the late public school is called Opa School. Go and see it. Look how it look. And we come here and we say, oh, this. We don't do everything. We know there's a innocent society, but like my brother is saying, we all can write with $5, $10, and say, look, we all went to Opa School in Lokinda. Can we give a little $5, $10 to go and build Opa School? That would be a good thing for us to do for our country. Even if there's no hand pump in that compound where the school is, we can put it there. We can build a little public toilet for the students to go there. So my brother, my heart's up for you. This is my second time listening to you, and I pray that God will strengthen you, whatever you're doing in Canada there for our Liberian brothers. I ask God bless you. But you brothers here?
Yeah, buddy.
Thank God for you, my brother.
All right.
I'm so happy my first time see you on your radio after so many years of civil war. I'm grateful for this kind of talk, and I'm happy, and I wish I would try to get, as long as I get a number, I'll make my own little contribution, a smaller one, whatsoever it would be. I'll be happy, and I tell God, thank you for you guys. And now people coming on radio, crossing my cross and all this stuff, but making sense to our brothers and sisters. And I like the way you address all of that. I would say you finally of this. This is not Chrissy T show or Henry Costa show, but rather we are here to talk, make sense, and not to talk like other people do. So I say thank you guys, and I pray that we all can better off our country.
Okay.
We're going to stay here forever. Get old and stay chunky in one old folks home, and the world happy to you. So I say thanks again, and let God bless everyone else.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, all right. Okay, so Leo, are you there?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up here. LPR is coming with an intellectual forum. We intend to do this every Sunday, and we are working aggressively to have some sort of partnership with local radio stations. We have a lot of correspondence around the country, but it's community-based. I'm quite sure they have NPR in Liberia. I mean, in Canada as well, but we do here, and those are some of the basic trainings we try to do. What is a news, what they're supposed to report. It's not like somebody going to have birthday party, every little thing, then people throw a phone there. And that's why some of us, with that was most of the time, we don't cover some of the things in Liberia there.
Sure.
I'm so sorry this person are calling, time is out. We have to be consistent. When it's over, it's over.
Exactly.
We have to be selective what we cover with people, because people is yet to know what is news, what is entertainment, and what is like a comedian type of stuff. And we need to draw that sort of fine demarcation. As we're about to wrap up here this evening, what would be your most takeaway from this conversation, and what do you want to tell Liberia? What we do not understand, we need to still understand in today's world.
There'll be a few things I'll say as I wrap up. And first of all, thank you so much. It's an honor for you to have invited me on your platform. I know some of great minds that have sat on the seat that I'm sitting on in terms of being on this platform. So thank you for being counting among those. And what I would say is this: we need to start to accept as Liberians that the work we have to do has to be serious enough that the outcome is not just for our lifetime. I think that's what I want to warn all Liberians. Stop working because you think 5 years down the road will prepare you to run for office, or 2 years down the road will benefit you personally. We need to start working to be willing to know that we'll be dead and gone when the fruits of the seeds that we are planting will start to be harvested. I use Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as an example all the time. I mean, he didn't even think. If you show Martin Luther King the world today and tell him that this is what the world looks like, he would doubt you. He wouldn't have believed that his efforts would have led to where we are today. But here's what I would say. Those of us who have started to preach this message, of empowerment and looking at ways to innovate in our country outside of government, despite the challenges, we need to be consistent. The inconsistency from our people is shameful. where one day you will get one person preaching this message, and before you know it, tomorrow they're preaching the direct opposite of it. It's deception. And people, Liberians, we need to stop following people that are deceptive. Anyone who is deceptive has no integrity. I don't care how eloquent they are. I don't care how handsome or beautiful they are. If you have no integrity, you got nothing for me to work with you on. And the last thing I will say in the diaspora, let's stop being afraid of the bullies. I know a lot of you may not be in a position to accept the onslaught of attacks that come when you stand up for the right things. I myself, I am an example. I became president of the Liberian Association of Canada about 11 months ago. Immediately I took upon office, the onslaught of attacks came on me. I took over an organization with very little amount, like over $2,000 in his account. The interim president had done a lot of great job to get it to that point. People started to write articles in Liberia, in the Liberian Observer newspaper, 2 to 3 articles about me being a criminal, me being a thief. People wrote to my church, to the boards that I sit on, to my work, calling me a criminal and I should be fired from my job across this country. They do that so that we can step away to open the space. But guess what? I often say the best response to criticism is performance. In the last 11 months, we've been able to raise over $180,000 now for this organization. As I speak to you, we are supporting vulnerable Liberians that have been hit hard by COVID, and some of our brothers and sisters who've crossed the border because they didn't have papers and are stuck, don't have work permit. We are providing direct financial support to them, over 300 families, every single month for the next 4 months now. We can put money into their bank accounts until hopefully this thing settles. This is what this organization should be about. So I would say to us, let's not stay away. Let's not run away because of the bullies. I could have backed down and resigned because I'm like, well, I'm just trying to help. Why are people attacking me? No, we got to stand up to the bullies and expose them for what they are. So more and more Liberians can start to believe that something good can come from the Liberian community. And I've told everybody, I'm saying I'm not going anywhere. You can bully all you want. The best response to criticism is performance. We will continue to perform and the record will speak for itself. So to all Liberians out there, stop glorifying the bullies. Stop following people that have no integrity, and stop asking everybody else to be your mentor except yourself. The first rule of mentorship, you need to figure out what your mission is, because that will help you identify who you should even align yourself with. If your only goal is to become popular and to find shortcut to success, you align yourself with criminals and people who have no integrity. If your goal is to grow and become a productive person in whatever you want to do, it will force you to align yourself with the people who have the integrity and ability to have that kind of impact on you. Thank you so much, Mr. Saul.
Well, folks, we're going to be drawing a curtain down here tonight, this event. That's the voice of the executive director of Empowerment Squared, a young progressive Liberian based in Canada. Leo, it was an honor and pleasure having you here. Looking forward to be here again on this network. Thank you so much for your expertise tonight. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, folks, every good thing must come to an end. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back here in a special edition at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be hosting Senator Alfonso G. Gay of Grand Jita County. He's the only senator that is retiring and not returning to Capitol Hill. But a lot of drama is unfolding. Alfonso G. Gay is the senior senator of Grand Jita County, Republic of Liberia. He will be my guest here. And as we wrap up here, let me just bring in this song here. And this is Minister BB right here. Let us be friends. Let us not, hatred cannot take her anywhere. This is in her own dialect. This one we all go into Grand Jita, my home county this evening. So let's go to enjoy Minister BB right. I want to thank all of my followers, viewers, Mr. Mulbert, and the rest of the who watch it, and even the callers from India. You know, Liberians are everywhere, and these people are looking for directions, and so we will not allow ourselves to be distracted by just viewing for the people or employ some sort of deception here in our midst. We are not going anywhere. Let's give it. And that's why it's in crime. If you don't like your fellow human beings, if you can't even talk to your mother, you can't even talk to your father, your friend, your neighbor, your schoolmate, your workmate, for whatever reason, who you are. And guess what? At the end of the day, when Jesus come down, what would be the justification? Blinking? Oh, maybe what they didn't talk to a man, so must say I talk to my Mr. Molba didn't talk to your uncle, so must say I never talk to my uncle. Come on, folks, we can do better. Before the water said, what a crampo used to do, how, but all the how, so everything going on. I know that the war, after the war, everything went away. What a beautiful song there by Minister B.B. Wright. It was my first guest right now in the West African state of Ghana, sonification here. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to tap into the expertise of all Liberians, no matter what you can do. We believe in the absence of all of these, the country is inconclusive, the country is not completed. I want to thank all of you here this evening. Time as scheduled with me here is 7:52 Eastern Standard Time here in the East Coast. Join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Politics will be discussed at the highest level. Senator Alfonso Gay, will he be making an endorsement? We are hearing some little news here, but he's going to be right here in the spin runs of the Liberia Public Radio 10 Lpr-Tv. Until then, I'm Alfonso Z, so have a pleasant evening, and hopefully you have a very beautiful Sunday. Thank you so much.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.